That's bullshit!
Morph Market is the website that connects reptile breeders and keepers across the world. Search through over 30,000 ball pythons to find the perfect animal for you. You can locate breeders near you and check their ratings, discover upcoming events and who will be there, and track your animals for free using the Animal Manager. Morph Market is dedicated to advancing the reptile industry.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Bullshit After Dark with me, your host, Sean Bradley. I'll play the bullshit music now since I was totally unprepared for that. Gotta love that, right, guys? That's bullshit. I love Justin Orbick for that.
That's bullshit.
Mr. Dave Harms in New Orleans, who delivers potato chips for a living.
That's bullshit.
And Mr. Lacey Elliott, former of Cornballs, for all of those of you who wanted to know who the fuck was talking during the bullshit intro. So I'm here. I hope that everything is good. Everybody's with me. My sound is good. We already did a good, little test run. Damn, we got quite a few people in here that I want to acknowledge. There's actually 12 people in here right now. That's pretty awesome. This dude right here, Will's hella heat. I'm going to just dial this out so I can just like kiss up to you guys right up and close and personal, right? Will's hella heat. This dude is like on it. He's on everybody's production. So I know he's not playing me any favorites, but he's definitely helping me get some word out there because he's sharing a bunch of shit and like he's just supporting me and stuff. And he's always commenting on things. That's great. Thank you a lot. Beast Morphs, I appreciate you. Heathen Hatchery, good to see you here, man. Genomic Labs, one of my sponsors in the house, Strange Creations. We're going to go through that stuff in just a second. Genomic Labs again, Strange Creations again, CRM Reptiles. There you are. And then that's pretty much it, right? That's pretty much it. Now somebody else. I'm still rolling. Ectothermic Dungeon. Sorry, guys. Let's see. PCF Funny Royals. It's an interesting name. There's my Blackheart boy. Look, we're going to get together, Mike and Michael. I'm going to call you Michael just in case you don't go by Mike. And we are going to do a show so fucking soon, bro. And I want to wait until I kind of want to wait until the road trailer's done so that you can do a bullshit podcast on location from the outside of a reptile show from your tiny little, like, I don't know, tiny home, whatever, your hotel on wheels, your I don't know what else you'd call it. Chris Osborne, thank you very much to wait all week for this shit. And on that note, I will throw this out there when you said I've waited all week for this shit. I'm going to be bringing you a new show every week. I'm angling for every week. Now, again, like my life is busy. This is how this works. I'm angling for a new show to start on Tuesdays called Off Topic Tuesdays. And it looks like our very first guest is going to be none other than Mr. Nick Mutton himself of Morelia Python Radio fame. And I believe he's got a whole new project we want to talk about on that show. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is add this screen back up on here to the live stream and take you through our sponsors. We already went through Morph Market. We already went through or here we can go through C-SERPENTS, Reptiles and Rack Systems, CSerpents.com. Also, Hotbox Incubators are amongst the same run here. I don't even know if he's using the Hotbox name anymore, is he? It looks like he's just running with the C-SERPENTS thing. But, I love my boy Chris, and as soon as this wall behind me is finished, behind this green screen, we'll have a laser cut logo for him and some other special logos cut out from all of our supporting sponsors. And they would be C-SERPENTS, Morph Market, a brand new sponsor that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Infinite Possible Python. That's my problem, Nathan. Every time I look at this, I want to just say impossible. I see Nacker grinning in the waiting room because Nacker agrees with me. Okay. Nacker agrees that Infinite Possible Pythons, I just want to say impossible pythons. Like, I don't know why it just wants to do that. So Infinite Possible Pythons, Mr. Nathan Granoff, he's running a great operation here, showing off all his signage that he tends to do because he owns a promo company. John Woodruff displaying today this sexy new rug that he just took out of the bag because he couldn't wait. He couldn't wait to iron it out and like walk it out to take pictures of it. It's all wrinkled and everything, but it just come out the bag. The dude definitely spent money on his logo. He loves his brand, and I love his brand too. Have you seen that this fucking dude has painted the side of his brand on the side of his rat building, like the size of the side of the building? Go to his Instagram page and search for that image. It's awesome. Reptile Collective, Mr. Steve Beamer. Steve, you started updating more. I love it. Not a lot, but a little. No, you started updating more. Go check out Steve Beamer. I've been giving him shit about not updating his page. Savage Constrictors, Becca and Ricky, love you to death. We had some fun conversations today. You're part of the reason that I'm so fucking exhausted and I didn't get any sleep today. Because I didn't sleep all last night. I didn't sleep one bit all last night. I slept for 30 minutes this morning from 6 a.m. to 6:30, and that was it. So I'm running on E, right? You can tell I'm not a coke fiend because otherwise I would be wound up. What's up, Mike? Good to see you in the house. Going to shout out to you since there's only like 5 people in here probably. All right, so Savage Constrictors and I had a good conversation today. Mr. Shane Kelly and I had a deep conversation today. Hopefully we will continue this deep conversation tomorrow. I love you, Shane. Thank you very much for your feedback today. It meant a lot to me, and I hope that we can continue to discuss what we were discussing today. Joshua Strange from Strange Creations. It kind of sells itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got them all. And then I'll end up on the Morph Market landing page. Now, I'm going to just take this away. And I'm going to bring Mr. Nacker on the screen. How are you, Mr. Nacker?
Not too shabby. How you doing, Sean?
Yeah. And we were just talking about that microphone up there. Dude, Mr. Nacker actually, you said it was at Best Buy?
Best Buy.
It's like a knockoff of a Shure SM7B. You can even look at the bail, and you can tell that the bail is even a ripoff of the SM7B. Of the way that does it have a wire that comes out too, or no?
So it's got a C to C connector.
Oh, okay. It's a USB mic. Okay.
And it also has an XLR too. So.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. It sounds excellent for the microphone. So for a $200 microphone, if anybody's looking for a mic that's not a $400 SM7B or a $100 pod mic, there you go.
That's the one.
I was impressed. I was very impressed. And so. While in the spirit of Animal Con week, we announced a hell of a new microphone for half the cost of an SM7B. Look at us.
Yeah, there you go.
We should have been. We should have went. We should have went. We could possibly have influenced that. We could have been like we could have been the microphone Q&A guys. Maybe.
Right. Animal Con Junior.
Animal Con. Yeah, Junior. Animal Con Elementary.
Yeah, there you go.
Elementary. Yeah. Yeah. So what did you think about that whole effort? Like just the effort in general. Let's just say, what is your impression of having an animal expo or an expo? Not really an animal expo, right? Having an expo concentric around streamers, if you want to call it streamers. I think using the word streamer is very is very demeaning to those people like Chris that put in massive amounts of hours working in editing. Because honestly, that's what I was just telling you when we got on, right? I was saying, dude, it's so fucking easy. This live shit is a fucking cinch.
Right. People do this live shit on Instagram all the time. You see people pop up in lives all the time on Instagram. People pop up in lives on YouTube all the time. I mean, it's just, hey, just a shoot the shit.
Well, I can't exactly say that the live feed button was very good for my past with my attitude in the past, right? It's like take the loaded gun away from the guy that's got like PTSD and depression and shit. You're like, bro, take the microphone away from me.
You're still holding the bullets though, right?
But no, really. What's that?
Still holding the bullets. Still got the ammo, right?
Well, I tell you what I did. If you're referring to the stuff I cut from the show and I edited from the show, I literally, when it hit the cutting room floor, I vaporized it because some of it was so rich that if I had it now, motherfucking like frat houses would be wrecked, right? Like frat houses would be wrecked. Somebody would have a problem with something that somebody else said 5 years ago, and they never imagined they'd ever be sharing tables with the dude with a banner and like a pipe rigging that they bought from a concert supply with giant fucking flames and smoke shows and lasers and whatever the fuck else people are doing now to sell snakes at a reptile show.
Well,
You know?
remember that you did an interview with me a long time ago.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it never aired, right? It never aired.
Yeah, it never aired.
And I'll be honest, thank fucking God it didn't air. Because
honestly, I wish it did, because we'd have a lot to reflect on. We really would have a lot to reflect
on. Man, it would be like, it was one hell of a time in my life, that's for sure. And
you were looking kind of like I feel right now, to be honest with you. I was looking at when last time I saw you at Tinley in March of 19, bro. I was very concerned. I did not think that I would see you in this game at this stage in this game. And you know what? I really want to go into that. But I want to save that juicy shit until we get all this laundry out of the way. Right?
There's some juicy shit for sure.
There's some juicy stuff. So let's wait on the happy wife, happy life shit until we move down the line, right? Because you know what? That when I made this podcast description, I actually used a line that one of the crypto shows use that I watch. And when the bull market was on and Bitcoin was inching towards $70,000, this podcast host actually came on and said, we're going to make wife-changing money, right? Now he's happily married with like 7 kids because he's Indian and he lives in South Africa and he's religious and he's got all these belief systems, and it allows him to have 7 fucking kids and be sane, right? Like me, none of those belief systems really exist up here. So 1 kid, all I can do. That's it. You got to have faith to have more than 1 kid. I'm pretty fucking convinced. So at this point, yeah, dude, it can be a serious fucking thing, right? So he's right. You got a bunch of kids. Yeah. So you got a bunch of kids. So it's a stress, right? It's a stress that you have that I don't understand, but it's a beautiful stress. I'm not saying it's a bad stress. It's a beautiful stress. I love my child and I would love to have more if I had the means of doing it.
Right.
But this guy said wife changing money. And do you know the amount of shit that he got from the listening public over insinuating that they were going to make so much money they would upgrade their wives to better looking women with bigger boobs and faster car, right? That was what he got shit about for being a podcaster, right? Hey, Bods, good to see you guys. I'm sorry I missed you in Daytona. So yeah, look, wife-changing information the Nacker has. The Nacker has the information. The Nacker has the information that not necessarily me, because I'll never fucking get married, but that all of the married people and the aspiring married people want to know. So wait a minute. Let's get back to that.
I almost didn't have that ring on my finger anymore,
I know. Ring, I know. And you know what's great though is that you were willing to sacrifice your love and your hobby for your family. And I think that in the end of it, that's ultimately probably what moved forward. But
I see people all the time like, oh, I gotta get out because we're selling the collection because we got a lot of shit going on, and it's just we can't do it right now, blah blah blah. The thing is doesn't mean you'll never get back into it. Look, I mean, you never really got out of it because you said you have 80 snakes or whatever.
Yes, no, I have 80 ball pythons, bro. I have like 400 snakes. I mean,
that's right.
Corn snakes and babies and stuff. Yeah, colubrids and shit. Oh yeah, they stack up, bro.
But like for me, I mean, I was getting out of it, but I didn't even really lose everything. Not everything was gone. I always had something. It was only a little bit at a time, but it was like shit, I got pulled back in, on my own when things were starting to go better. So like you said, well, we'll go back to that later. Maybe.
Yeah. Let's touch a little bit on that, but yeah, the animal con thing. I really want your opinion on that. Like give it to me, because we weren't there. Right. And honestly, I did watch some videos, but I didn't watch enough videos to form a logical opinion. I did, however, sit in the side, chat of last night's Nobody's Safe podcast on MJ's channel. And honestly, they kind of made me want to go. Yeah, they kind of made me want to go. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to go and like say, oh, I'd like the same room, because me in a hotel room, bro, I got to find like the room that works for me with the shower and all that shit. I'm not going to say like, see this room right here? This room is for me, and I'm going to get it every year from here on out. Let me book it for next year. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, you know what? I'm not going to shit on it, but let me see what it's all about, because it sounded to me like it would be interesting to meet some collaborators from around the world to work with on this channel.
Right.
especially on that off topic Tuesday, you know, where on the Chris show, I talked about interviewing a bearded dragon and blue tongue skink and Antaresia python breeder in Australia, not a fucking American one. Right. Like I want to know how they are in their country. And you know, I think going to an animal con could do that for me. But like you've got how many subscribers on YouTube? Like I've got like 5.
7,800, 78.
7,800. 7,800. So that man, you just walking in there as a snake breeder, you have more followers than possibly half the motherfuckers that are there.
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
you know,
I
and
don't
there's
really know, you know.
well, you know, that's the funny thing too. Like I remember like when Justin was, you know, getting really big with the YouTube stuff and everything, you know, he was getting up there and then Miguel came in and surpassed him in like 2 years. It's like, holy shit,
Right.
you know,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, these guys have you know, there's a lot of influence these guys bring to the table, you know, with us, with, you know, the people in the hobby. So yeah, I think it's really good. It's a really good
Yeah,
thing.
the
if they're
industrial
able to-
influence of that is insane. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we
You
can
know-
all say that thankfully we don't have more products in the industry that they could be reviewing. Could you imagine where I just came from the aquarium store?
Right.
Every fucking thing has a review with a video. With like, you know, what do you think about Sarah Food? We'll go on YouTube. Well, I went on YouTube, but there was 18,000 reviews and like 17,700 of them said it was great, but 300 of them said it was shit. So what do you think? I'm like, fuck. Thank God reptiles don't have this level of product involved.
Right. Yeah, you like it or you don't, kind of, or you're somewhere in between. You already, it's not like, I don't know. Review thing would suck ass if you're you know, if you're looking at specific morphs and stuff like that. Like, oh, what do you think of mahogany? I don't know. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you like what it does when you put it in combos? I mean, that's
yeah. What is John Feely and I going to do on the ABCs of ball pythons? It's about to rip out where we're going to be like, hey, reserve your opinion on this one.
Yeah. Well, I thought chocolate looked like a shit fucking gene for the longest time, and then all of a sudden they started putting it in some cool combos with clown. And I'm like, fuck, I wouldn't mind getting a chocolate here eventually.
I made a chocolate Mojave when chocolates were no one wanted to touch them, and Mojaves were like $10,000. No, they were like $5,000. We made a chocolate Mojave, and people were like, "What the fuck is that?"
Right.
And then you'd tell them chocolate, and it'd be like, meh.
Well, that's the thing. I used to see chocolate combos. I'm like, it looks like a dirty fucking snake. It looks like it's dirtier, you know, at 100 grams than what most adults are when, you know, when they start to brown out and shit. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. But then, like you said, you put it in the right combos, you put it in the right stuff. It's like, damn, I would like to get chocolate in my collection now, you know, because I, you know, missed out on it when everybody else was getting on it cheap and all that shit.
But in the reference to whatever. Promoter, whatever, influencer, right? In reference to an influencer's influence, right? Because I mean, I remember the day that what Justin hatched, what was it? That clown,
the magma
thing that
and
had red stripe in it. That had red stripe in it. Yeah, the Pompeii. That was it, the Pompeii. I remember having orders of het puzzles. And then when the Pompeii came out, everybody hit me up and said, you know how I got those deposits on those puzzles? Do you have any red stripes? I'm like, what the fuck? You know, and ultimately, that's the slippery slope, right? That's the slippery slope. Hey, Ann, nice to see you here. Thanks for coming. That's the slippery slope. You know, it's the, you know, anyway. So could you see yourself going with 7,800 followers on YouTube? Could you really see yourself participating, or are you more of a breeder that's using it as a business card?
Yeah, a little bit of that, I guess. I mean, yeah, it'd be cool if, you know, if my 7,800 subscriber count and I thought it was worth going and stuff like that. I mean, I know some people know who I am, you know, or hey,
but with 7,800 people, you could definitely push it further, right? I mean, you're not.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would like.
You're not under the wind, right? I mean, you can push it further. Like the thing is, I have no real solid goal with this. So, like, if I do this for a year and we have 750 subscribers after a year, I'm going to be really upset. Okay, if we only have 1,500 subscribers after a year of me hitting this fucking thing 4 times a month, then 4 times a month on Tuesday, then 3 times or 2 times a month in between, with like epic interviews that are long, that aren't like this free-flowing bullshit type stuff, right? So, dude, would you have the followers? I mean, like, where could you push it?
I definitely wouldn't mind going, obviously. I mean, that'd be really cool. And obviously, if they said, hey, yeah, we'd like you to, you know, be a presence there, and and
Oh, I don't think I'm going to get invited. Don't think I'm going to
Oh, no.
think that at all. No. I'm not thinking that. I wasn't saying, what if we get invited, bro?
Oh,
No,
okay.
you're way closer to get invited to that than me. You're way closer.
I don't know
to
about that.
You're fucking, you're a virgin card away from that, bro, from me. Like, you're that fucking different. Like, you've never had it and I've had it, and that's it. Like, it's like, it might as well be Ebola or herpes times 10 or whatever it is. You know, lately I've felt it a little bit, not a lot of it, but a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, when I say, look what Beast Morph said. Build on it, Doug. I thank you guys for in the chat. For
I have some really
actually participating.
There's some really good people that support me, and there's been times and shit.
Of course, I don't know who Will doesn't support. Honestly, Will's hella heat is apparently involved in burning us all up and making us all better. So thanks, Will. Thanks, Will. So yeah, dude. I mean, that's good. So you say you would go. But only if they held it on the Wednesday after Daytona, so you wouldn't have to pay for a week of staying in South Florida to stay there, right? Like, that's it. Like, let's do it on the Monday after Daytona,
man. Holy shit!
Right? Let's do it like the Show Me shows. Let's start Animal Con when the Reptile show shuts down at 5, and run Animal Con from 5 to 10. And you know what? That wouldn't be a bad idea, would it? To like throw it with maybe it's crazy, but throw it with the Reptile show where it was an after, like a more listen.
Would you get the non-reptile creators in there though? Do you think
hear me out? The Marine Aquarium Conference of North America is likened to MACNA. I mean, it's MACNA. It's likened to NARBC. Okay, it's the same basic fabric as NARBC and Remy shows in California, right?
All right.
Big monster fucking show. Everyone there from around the world, right? Product manufacturers from Europe, from China. You got Chinese people there with pumps that you'd never buy on AliExpress trying to sell to Americans. You're like, you walking by, I'm like, wow, you really gave a lot to come here. The show starts set up on a Monday and doesn't open till Friday to the public, but it's open Friday morning to the public, and it runs all Friday, all Saturday, all Sunday. Are you honestly telling me you went to Tinley Park and if no one recognized you, no one had to stop you in the aisle for any conversation at all, Doug? You went to Tinley Park, you can really see every reptile in there in 2 days with the traffic in there? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. So at what point is a show so fucking big that we can't explore it the way we want to? Because when you go to MACNA, you buy a pass for 3 days and you go all 3 days, because all 3 days they're having giveaways and seminars, and then all 3 days during the show, and then all 3 days. Now, granted, I know very few people at a reptile show participate in seminars. Now, in Daytona, they do, because they're at nighttime and they're made for people to go to. So take a page out of that book, maybe. No, I mean,
they've done the seminar stuff at Tinley, I know, but
it's during the day during the show. So if
is...
anybody wants to go that's a vendor, you're out of luck. You're asked out. I mean, I can remember going when Brian did the Scaleless presentation, and it was a fucking disaster. I mean, you know what? It wasn't a disaster that time, because that particular time I didn't have a table. I went to record the Reptile Report, which is on my podcast. It's on Spotify. I think the Reptile Report, State of the Industry of 2000 fucking whatever 14. It was some bullshit presentation thing, but it was interesting to listen to. It was Chad and Robin and Brian and Bill, maybe Bill Brandt. Was it Bill Brandt and Mike? I don't know. I don't remember who it was. Well, I think it might have been Bill Brandt, but yeah, you can go back and listen to it. But that was a seminar in the front of Tinley, and nobody fucking went. I mean, that one was full of people because Barchak was there, and it was the weekend that he brought the Scaleless ball python to Tinley.
Sure.
So everybody was listening to what he had to say at that one, and he had already been rolling with Snakebite. Snakebites already had a whole table full of t-shirts and autographs.
Right.
So, I mean, that was rolling. But yeah, so like, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I just think I'd really like to see it held around one of our events so that more of us could go without having to justify spending a lot of money to go to it, is all.
Yeah. And I think for somebody who wants to get into that kind of like, hey, I want to represent not just my hobby or business or whatever you're doing, but I want to be able to, reach out to people beyond just a little bit of hobby stuff, and, like look at Miguel. I mean, he's sitting in California where there's freaking celebrities and athletes and all that stuff all over the place. And he used to do the fitness place and all that. So he's got a lot of connections, but if somebody wanted to kind of learn more from the creator perspective and how to up their game without, having to just go on YouTube and watch creator videos from, people from different industries. They can focus more on the reptile part of creating reptile videos and, good editing, good lighting for the snakes. Because, how many times have you seen a picture or a video of a snake look like total shit, but the snake itself looks awesome because you're not using the right lighting. You're not using all you're not using everything at your disposal that you have, from a creator perspective or whatever. So,
yeah. And I think a lot of that, I mean, look at where I'm sitting right now. I mean, I got a shiny face. Obviously, I'm wearing makeup. But these lights, I mean, I try to set them nice to where I get a good exposure, but I don't have my hair light yet. So I'm not fancy on the back of my head yet, but I got it in a box right here. It can just hang up on the ceiling. I just, it's kind of hard to get a fucking something hung up on a ceiling here by me. I got to get somebody to fucking do it. And when it's got wiring and shit, that's a thing. But really, like doing this studio and trying to figure out this studio, I'll be totally honest with you. It was not easy, and it has not been easy. And the fucking $4,000 Sony camera that I bought and dueling, I didn't buy that for this podcast. I bought that to take incredibly high detailed 4K video of isopods for an isopod podcast that I want to start with isopod.com, the #1 guy in his space. And he and I are going to do some stuff on here on Off Topic Tuesday to prep it if we decide to do it. But I wanted to be able to, I want to be able to bring you in the isopods like they're fucking Starship Troopers, bro. Like it's like bugs attack and you got like you're literally looking at a bug that's this fucking big, but it looks like it's the size of this room. Like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like, you want to know how to sex this isopod? Let me just flip it over in this camera and we'll talk about it on the podcast. Like that level, that camera is capable of that and doing that at 4K 60 frames a second for under $3,000 for the body. I bought the motherfucker, right? I bought it. I mean, I don't have to look at the last camera I bought. I paid Mike Wilbanks $7,000. Well, I traded him a $7,000 ball python for a body, a Nikon D3S body in like 2011, 10, bro. And I've been using that camera for all that EBN photography since then. How much money has that camera made? Right? So how can you possibly tell me, oh, you spent too much money on that? No, you don't even know what kind of money I would love to spend on that because it's going to go somewhere. Right. So anyway, I would have liked to have gone to it just for that because I am a tech nerd, Right. I got the room full of machines. You saw on the Paul McIntyre podcast, we got a whole room full of machines here, bro. I love that shit. I love seeing like what technology can do for us because like that board I showed you, this Rodecaster Pro 2 that I have here. This is a $700 piece of equipment. It replaces $2,000 worth of gear in the next room.
When I was,
and that's some funny shit right there, Ricardo. That's some funny shit. And I gave that incubator away. That, right? Like, that incubator was given away. Call Chris and ask him. That actually did happen.
That was like,
actually did happen.
That was 5 years ago or so, right?
That was in 2015, 16. I don't know. The second year I did it when Chris wanted to really get crazy. Yeah. Fuck yeah. That was a minute ago. You know what, Ricardo? We're still pulling drawings on that. So do me a favor, share and like. And now it's going to be the time where I rep the channel, right?
Ricardo,
yeah, that's right. Ricardo's going to do me a favor right here. He's here for the giveaway. If you're here for the giveaway from 7 years ago, that was already given away 7 fucking years ago, like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell and all that fun shit. And you might win a Hotbox incubator. You might win. That's pretty. You might win. I don't fucking know otherwise. So yeah, Ricardo, that couldn't have been a better way to tell me, to hint to me, to plug this fucking channel. That was perfect, bro. That was a good job. That was good. Nice. So that brings me on to this next crazy shit. Let me ask you a question, Doug Nacker.
Yeah.
Do you ship reptiles?
Oh yeah.
Who ships your reptiles?
You know what? So for me, it's a little different than everybody else because I live next to this freaking amazing guy named Garrick DeMeyer.
Oh, yeah, I never heard of him.
He's
he lives under a rock.
New guy in the block. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, you know what it is? He lives under an umbrella that protects you of shit because it's like I said the other night. That's a dude that made it through the shittiest time of ball pythons without getting any shit on him.
Yeah, he so I only live about 10 minutes from him, from his shop. So I literally 10-minute drive to his shop, and that's right, and I'm there. And so he's been pretty much my mentor, from the get-go. Because before I knew there was a world of all this different
spoiled motherfucker.
I know.
Spoiled motherfucker.
I know. I'm not going to deny that. No,
oh, not at all. No, and I loved having him on the show too. That's a great old episode y'all can go listen to from crestedgecko.com.
So
poser Garrick Meyer.
So Garrick, he has his own authorized shipping stuff through FedEx, so he doesn't need to do Ship Your Reptiles or as a Redline,
he's doing enough business. Okay, enough. He's doing so much volume that he's getting a better discount than all of us, including
So I don't know, 5 snakes I ship a month or whatever that I'm shipping out. Hey Garrick, you mind if I, just let me know what I owe you, so you can charge me the shipping.
Absolutely.
And then if I don't have the supplies, he just charges me the supplies as well. And I don't know if that's like an insider thing I shouldn't be talking about with him, but no, he's been great. Obviously, it's a lot of times too. My work schedule kind of fucks me when it comes to shipping. Anyways, I mean, there's times where it's like, God, by the time I get my home and get my shit together, then I have to go all the way to the hub to ship it. Man. Where FedEx goes to his shop and picks up stuff. He has enough shipments whenever he ships that they just go to his shop, pick up the boxes, and then they go to the hub. So he doesn't need to go to the hub. So it's like, hey, I can get there in 10 minutes versus, get in there in a half hour or whatever. So if I'm on a time crunch, I don't have to worry about that kind of shit. Get there. He knows, it's this temperature, so we'll use this many heat packs, or we won't use a heat pack. We'll go this size.
Now, have you ever learned that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, I have to my own
you
stuff
better.
Because obviously I gotta prep myself for that kind of shit. So
you gotta be ready with that, man. And that was the funny thing. I think we all had that guy that we called before we shipped. At least I did, right?
Yep.
My friend Kevin Elliser at the time, who was a gecko breeder in New Orleans. And he and I used to buy boxes and heat packs and stuff like that together. And I'd call him every fucking day for like 4 years. And he's like, dude, when you start shipping snakes that cost like 10 times the price of these fucking geckos that I'm shipping, I'm going to start calling you. Because then I'm going to be wanting to know how you do that, because again, remember, this is back in the day when we started, we had to use Delta fucking Dash.
Okay.
Like there was no door-to-door. Yeah, you could ship postal, right?
Okay.
Or you could ship UPS next day air. If you were like Mark Bell, you were shipping UPS, right? Because you'd already figured it out. But there wasn't anybody shipping a fucking $20,000 ball python FedEx. FedEx wouldn't even accept them. They didn't even have reptile service. There was no Ship Your Reptiles. There was no animal desk. FedEx didn't have an animal desk until Ship Your Reptiles went to them, I'm pretty sure, and worked it out. And if you remember, Ship Your Reptiles, I know you don't remember, Ship Your Reptiles started with UPS. And then right into it, Ship Your Reptiles had an error with the shipper, not them, but a customer had packed a box wrong and a snake escaped, I want to say, in a UPS truck. And UPS is like, nope, no more. And they kicked us all off because we were using UPS like Garrick is. Celia and I were shipping so much that our UPS discount outranked any discount that we would get from Ship Your Reptile.
Sure.
So, and then that was the thing. It was kind of funny. So there's a lot of nuances to shipping that I think a lot of people don't realize. And that's what we're going to discuss really quick.
So I got into this whole thing in 2009, right? Mm-hmm. And, so I didn't get any snakes shipped to me for like the first year or two because almost everything came from Garrick's shop, so I was just driving over there getting stuff. But the first snake I ever got shipped to me, it arrived and I was like, oh man, this looks awesome. And it was, at the time, it was just a spider because those were still kind of cool.
Yeah.
And anyways, it was a spider. I'm like, oh, this looks pretty nice. And all of a sudden its head just went. I'm like, what the fuck? It was like hot, and I didn't even realize it was dead initially for like the 2 seconds, and all of a sudden it was like, oh man, this thing's not moving. I'm like, son of a bitch. So the guy was in Florida. He put a heat pack in there and he shipped it up to Wisconsin because Wisconsin was like, I don't know, it was going to be like 50 degrees. But the thing is it was like 90 degrees down in Florida. So he put a heat pack in there because he was afraid that when he got up to Wisconsin, it was going to be. So yeah. So then he had another one he sent me, but Garrick's like, just tell him not to put a heat pack in there, just ship it as is, no heat pack, no cool pack, just so then I told him, and he shipped it to me and it was fine. But yeah, right. So then
a lot of people think reptiles need heat packs year round. We don't ship with heat packs the bulk of the year where we are
Right.
in Louisiana.
And there's
We
some
don't
hot
use heat
fucking
packs
days.
the bulk of the year. Not even in the winter do we use heat packs all the time. We don't even use
Right.
them all the time in the winter.
So-
So like, yeah, it ends up being a problem.
Well, and that's where it becomes like a process. And I know this is like kind of what I've learned from Garrick too, from just watching and how he used it for like in the fall in Wisconsin, it gets to be kind of cool or whatever. Or if it's, going to go to a warm area, you want the heat pack to still be active right away when it's in Wisconsin. But by the time it gets to like, let's say Louisiana, you want that heat pack to be worn off. So then that way, it's not roasting that snake when it's down in that 80-degree weather or 90-degree weather, but when it's
Right.
up here, or vice versa, when you don't want the heat pack to take too much effect right away, you want it to kick in later. So then you do it right before you ship it out versus like, I know he'll have it where heat packs are heating up already. So that way you've already used.
Yeah, I would not know what it
hours.
was like to be up there with you guys and ship. That would be a fucking wrench in my works, bro. Like
Yeah.
you would be fucking with me for like a year. Like you'd really take me a solid year of feedback to be fucked with. Versus me, listen, here's one for you. One of the last shipments that I shipped in the dead of winter before I retired out of ball pythons, I shipped a fucking $12,000 pair of puzzles to Colorado in the middle of February. And it was 15 degrees outside. And the guy asked me, he's like, "Are you serious? You're going to ship?" And I'm like, "Fucking right. Don't you want him to feed him?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Don't you trust me?" The dude worked for Bushmaster. He worked for Cameron. Like he worked for Bushmaster forever. Like I'm just like, yeah, I realize you guys are old school and you've been shipping Indonesian animals all around the country from Colorado for years and years and years. And I understand that. I'm in Louisiana. I know FedEx. I know the system. Dude, are you guaranteeing this? Yeah, I'll give it to you in writing. I'll guarantee him. He's like, "Yeah, but I don't want to fuck them up because I won't be able to buy replacements till next year." And I was like, "Trust me, if they die, I'll send you adults." And he's like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, watch. I'll ship them to you." He's like, "Dude, it's going to be like 20 tomorrow as a high." And I'm like, a low or whatever. And I said, "Yeah, I'll send him. That's fine. Colorado, that's fucking summer in the winter. Y'all are going outside." No, really. You see people in Colorado, it's 20 degrees outside in the middle of the winter. They're outside in t-shirts. Right? Like, I don't fucking care. I'm not outside in fucking 45 degrees in Louisiana t-shirt. But they are. So I'm like, "Dude, let's do it." And he said, "I'm going to temp gun and I'm going to take pictures." And I was like, "Good, do it. I would love for you to do that. That actually helps me out."
Right.
And he got the box and he temp gunned the outside of the box. Bro, I was like fucking 15 degrees on the outside of the box. He had temp gun he opened it up, temp gun the styrofoam top, then opened that up, temp gun the top of my pillow stuffing. Then opened. By the time he got all the way to the snake in the box, the snake was 76 degrees.
Sure.
He was like, "Dude, what the fuck?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, that's it. Look at this shit." Opening a package from EBN's like opening a pill bottle. You're right. It looks like a pill bottle inside. It's nothing but pillow stuffing. That's all we use is polyfill all the time. I ship a corn snake that somebody paid $150 shipped for from here to fucking Louisiana. I mean, to California. Cost me $80 to ship it, and I still stuffed a fucking box of pillow stuffing. Why? Because refunding someone for a dead snake on arrival is not only a loss to you, it's a loss to them you will never make back. And that is part of my conversation tonight. And I'm going to say this real quick. Give me just a second. I got to paste a link to a friend because we might be joined by someone if he so chooses to jump in. Not right now, but after this. So I'm going to tell you guys something that I did that's way outside the scope of anything you've ever seen me do on a bullshit podcast or around a bullshit podcast or really around my business in the last entire fucking... There's my boy right there. Look at it, Earl. Look at Earl and Ren from Lone Star Reptiles chilling in the house. Listen, this is a touchy subject because not all shipping companies are the same, but all shipping companies are fundamentally thought of to be the same. Everybody looks at a shipping company and think, what do they look at, Doug? What's their number one consideration when looking at a shipping company right now?
Price. How much is it going to? How much
level?
Level, oh yeah,
right?
yep.
Discount level. Well, that's price, right? It's the same.
Yeah.
thing.
So how much is it going to cost me to ship this snake out? I'm charging the customer $60. Is it going to cost me $60 or $70 or $80 to ship this box? Am I going to lose $20 on a snake that, That's what
That's
the big part is, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I had a moment where I was like, you know what? I really, really, really love my shipper. And I use the new official shipper of the Ballsh podcast, Reptiles to You. Debbie Price has taken care of my EBN business since 2019, before all this COVID bullshit started, right? Because you don't ship, you said you ship 5 boxes a month. I typically ship 5 to 10 boxes a week.
Right.
Okay. So in this particular case, I am thrilled with my price, first of all, but I'm more thrilled with my service. And I'm not thrilled with the website. I don't care about the integration. I don't care how easy it is to use, because they're all about the same, right? I mean, you plug your values in. Like, have you ever tried one, Doug, or no?
Well,
Have you ever tried like Ship Your Reptiles?
Yeah, I've done
like,
Ship Your Actually, I've done Ship Your Reptiles a couple times,
right?
And then I did Reptiles to You. Actually, it's because the person who wanted to get it, they actually made the
paid
label
for the label, and that's what they
then,
used, right?
Yep,
They used Reptiles to You. Okay.
Yep.
So like going down all this road, like we ultimately, this week we've seen Morph Market announced Redline Shipping as the official shipper of Morph Market, right?
Yep.
And I want to support my shipping company for my podcast. So I reached out to John Lehman from Morph Market, because I know him to have more integrity than most people in this industry that I could reach out to with this sensitive issue. And you know how fucking shocked he was to get that email and not read that shit as a post on Facebook when I was pissed off or had some attitude or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, dude, he was fucking shocked. He was like, I'm really thrilled with this. Like, I love that this is a process. And we shared like 4, 5, 6, 7 back and forth revisions of me saying what I really wanted to say without upsetting anybody. Well, not upsetting anybody really much. Like, somebody's going to get upset, right? Like, somebody's going to get pissed off about it, right? So this is really it, you know, and it has nothing to do with the owner. It has nothing to do. It has to do with the owner, I guess, but not against like him in his past, like not against like something he did, not against something he let me down on. This isn't about how someone at Ship Your Reptiles or someone at Redline has let me down, because I have only used Ship Your Reptiles like 3 times in my life. And that was when I used them as a sponsor for the Bullshit podcast years ago.
Sure.
But I wasn't using any reptile shipper at the time. I was using a neutral package forwarder from California, a logistics company. Okay. That was basically acting much like Garrick is acting for you.
Right.
But for me and a bunch of cricket companies that don't use the main guy. Right. And I was really unhappy with the way that he was handling my boxes. Now, years back, he was handling my boxes great, but now he's not really handling my boxes really all that great, you know, or well, at the time in 2019, 2018, something like that. And again, this is not Ship Your Reptiles, not Reptiles Express, not Reptiles to You, not anything that anyone from any of these organizations have ever even had affiliation with. Okay. Completely off topic guy. Right. So basically my stance is this, and I'm just going to paraphrase. I'm not going to go read the fucking thing verbatim, although I probably should read the damn thing verbatim, and ultimately I'm not going to. So, you know, my real thing is this. You've had 3 companies in this space, SYR, RE, Reptiles to You, that are privately owned by people inside the reptile business. Although Ship Your Reptiles has the ship your everything business, right? Because they have like the ship your kit car and ship your radio, ship your remote control car, ship your wine, ship your beer. Like, they have a lot of websites. And that was the idea. Like the Jeff Barringer, kingsnake.com, you know, King Snake Hobbyist, remember? Car Hobbyist, you know, Snake Hobbyist, Kid Hobbyist, all that bullshit. And Jeff's idea was, let's throw enough shit at the wall and see how much of it sticks, and we'll be able to monetize from that. And that was the Ship Your Reptiles mentality, and it holds good. But in the grand scheme of things, the only thing that really we need to worry about the shipment on is live animals. Like when we have someone calling FedEx for us, you know, like who's going to call FedEx? Yeah. When some beer's missing, sure. But when the beer's delivered overnight, not on time, and like maybe not as much, maybe, I don't know. I think we have a higher need for a shipping company to be responsive to our problems than any other shipping industry there is. Is that off or not? Like other than fish and livestock, right? Birds, fish, dog and cat stuff that's like dogs and live cats. Obviously, those are airline only, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? Like I'm trying to say, you know, some of them offer insurance. Will just brought this up. SY, I think he said meant to say is SYR the only one that does insurance, or though can you add it to other companies? No, there's other companies that offer insurance. That's it.
Right.
It's not just the insurance, and it's not just the price, and it's not just the interface. It's what happens when your box gets stuck. And that's what I don't know. I don't know what happens when 20 Exotics by Nature packages since the beginning of 2021 till now got stuck an extra day. Okay. For anyone listening to this, let me just put this in perspective, and then I'm going to let you have a second. I'm gonna have a few minutes actually if you want to go, but you know what I mean. This particular thing, I think this issue should be mentioned, that when problems arise, problems stack up, and that FedEx may have an issue one day where 150 packages are stuck in one day. And I don't remember what Debbie told me the record was for her this past winter, spring or whatever. But Doug, it was scary as fuck, dude. It was like hundreds of boxes of Reptiles to you boxes were stuck at the hub in Memphis or wherever in Memphis at the Memphis hub. Not hundreds, less than 100, but a ton of boxes, right? Like a ton of boxes. And here's what gets done. Okay. Debbie wakes up in the morning, and every single package exception, she contacts FedEx with the number, and she gives them the number for them to hunt the box down and retrieve it and bring it indoors, because it's on the live Reptile account. And because they know it's a live animal in the box, they have to go out there and try to fetch it.
Okay.
And then they put it inside. But wait, then she messages your customer. Sometimes it's a text, sometimes it's an email, whatever she's got, right? That works. And she tells them about the problem and when they'll expect the box. So that when I wake up on Central Standard Time, which is 1 hour behind Eastern, and I tend to sleep late because I tend to stay up late. A lot of you guys know that.
Yep.
I've got customers on the Eastern Coast that have gotten fucked up packages that have already been notified, gone to work for the day, not expecting it till tomorrow. Bro, I've never had service like this. And I have no evidence that any of these other companies offer it at all, because I got nobody sitting in front of me. And maybe it's just because I'm not getting it, right? Maybe that's it, right? Here's Chris. I had a box stuck in Memphis, was 4 days late because of the weekend. Well, then I got to tell you, bro, you learn a lesson there. You never ship past Wednesday. Okay, Chris, you never ship past Wednesday. If your client says they absolutely have to have it past Wednesday, you explain to them that the animal might die, that they might lose all their money. And then when it does, you'll never sell them a snake ever again because they were cruel and they forced you to ship it. At which point I still blame you, because you can tell your customer to fucking wait. Okay. You ship on a Thursday. It doesn't get delivered Friday. It doesn't get there till Monday. There's your 4-day deal. Okay. You do that near a holiday. Okay. If it's Thanksgiving's on a Thursday, you ship on a Tuesday. It doesn't make it on a Wednesday. It doesn't get there till a Friday. Okay. So at that point, you really have to understand the way that worked. Now, look, Will's got something quick to say here. Memphis and India are the two worst hubs in America. Now, I have to say something to you, Will. FedEx is the worst fucking company. Well, no, DHL is the worst company in America, but FedEx is the worst of FedEx and UPS. You know why? Because UPS has one fucking hub in Louisville, Kentucky, and it's the most advanced hub in the country. It's the biggest hub in the country, and every single UPS overnight box goes through that motherfucker. And before the situation with Ship Your Reptiles, we could all ship snakes UPS. They didn't really say we could, but they didn't really say we couldn't. Now they say you can't, right? And so now we're off to that unfortunate thing, okay? So ultimately, all I have to say is this, and this is my paraphrase. I don't even have to go down the road of like hanging somebody or whatever else. I want to see Redline do well, because it's a reptile concentric person, which wait, Doug, I
Yep.
know I said I'd let you say something. But hang on.
Waiting.
Really, 1999, I met Robin Marklin. He was my next door neighbor at the Wayne Hill show, which you now know as Daytona, which was in Orlando at the time. For some reason, Pro Exotics didn't bode well with politics. And he got bumped all the way back to the back room. I'll tell you what happened. Chad promised Wayne an autographed jersey shirt and a football and never sent it to Wayne. And when they got to Orlando and they went to their normal spot across from Tracy Barker in the main room, they were not there. I'll never forget Chad Brown's reaction that day to Wayne Hill, because Wayne didn't tell them that he bumped him into the back room with the beginners. Like me, I was 19, dude. He was my neighbor. Pro Exotics was my neighbor. The politics were so thick. I was in the room when Chad went to the tables and he said, Wayne, where are our tables? Wayne looked at him and said, where's my jersey and my football? And walked away. And that was Pro Exotics. Right. And so I got to meet Robin in the back room where there was no business, where they weren't doing all that well. To be honest, I bought Japanese cave-dwelling geckos from him for next to nothing because he just didn't want to take them home. And they had bred so many of them in Pro Exotics in Colorado, he just didn't want to take them back. So my history with Robin Marklin as a person has been good. It hasn't been bad. Robin and I've never had a problem in public or anything otherwise. You know, I got no issue with him as a person. I got no issue with him building a company. I did have issue with the biggest website in the world or whatever endorsing it. But John gave me some really, really good reasons why it worked for him, reasons why it worked for Robin and for Redline, and fully gave me permission to support another shipper that I've been supporting for now 3 years of my own business and whatever. So that's it, bro. Like, that's it for me. Like, I'm good. Like, that's my rant and I'm done. And you know, what I did want to read verbatim was this: since I'm being judged so harshly by some members of this community about my past, I won't mention names. This ain't the old shit. This is the new shit. Let's move on.
This is the new shit. So, Robin and I, so I've dealt with him a few times with the Ship Your Reptile stuff because of delays, and kind of like what you had said, you know, with what you've dealt with, you know, Debbie and everything, and great waking up, you know, and she takes care of everything for you guys. Robin was just as supportive of that as well. When I had to deal with a few packages missing, when I did use Ship Your Reptiles back in the day, he'd call me back and everything, say, hey, just so you know, I got a hold of FedEx. They finally found the package. They're going to, you know, so he was calling me with the updates as well and everything too.
This is what I want to hear. This is what I want to hear. My opinion is not based on my experience. Right.
Yep. Either that or an email or whatever, you know, it's just, you know, he definitely kept in contact and stuff. Now, I don't know, you know, if you didn't contact him, if you know what the deal was, because I contacted, say, hey, package is still in Memphis. It's, you know, 8 o'clock in the morning. It should already be in my hub, you know, or it should be in the Wisconsin Madison hub or whatever before it gets to mine. And then shit was still showing up at it hadn't arrived in Memphis or whatever the deal was, you know. And but yeah, he's been great with everything that I've ever dealt with. And you know, and I think having multiple shipping, you know, people that can ship reptiles for us and everything. I mean, what's wrong about that, or what's the bad thing about that?
There's not a bad thing about more companies. There's not.
Exactly. The only thing that could possibly see being bad is if there got to be so many of them that there was some of them that didn't hardly get any packages shipped through them that they had to shut theirs down. You know what I mean? Right. Because eventually it'd be like,
listen, look, I'll be honest with you. Look, my one experience with Reptiles Express was from a client. Well, I was the client, the shipment, and they couldn't even get anybody to answer the fucking phone. So in my opinion, as long as that's not the fucking shipper for Morph Market, I'm sorry, Mike. As long as you're not the shipper for Morph Market, bro, you know, you'll come to me a show and be like, what the fuck was that, dude? I thought we were cool. And I'll be like, we are cool, but business, that's people. That's us as people. Oh, wait. There's one more thing I wanted to say. There is. You know how fucking resolved I am? Mike tried to get me to fucking ship with him when Debbie left. Debbie didn't. I was already told that I could say this. Debbie didn't leave. Debbie was fired, so she was able to do her own thing the way she wanted to do it in peace, right? She didn't leave to go do her own thing. She, and I'm not saying Robin did. I do not know the circumstances if you're leaving. ship your reptiles 3 years ago. I do not know the circumstances. I don't know, and I'm not going to presume anything. I hope you and Chad were best friends for years. So I don't even know if that fell apart. Look, relationship have expiration dates. My best friend and I fell apart over some shit I did that he wouldn't allow me to come back from. So you know what? If that's the case and Robin's in the right, then I support him going on and allowing him to do better for himself. Right. But in the grand scheme of this all, Michael came to me when Debbie left and he said, and Debbie started Reptiles to You. It was at Atlanta, the only Atlanta, Bob Vu remembers, the only Atlanta reptile show I ever vended, because y'all motherfuckers in Atlanta don't let outsiders make $1. Bob Vu came up and he was like, how you doing in Atlanta? And I'm like, not too good, dude. I heard you spend a lot of money on buying snakes. And he's like, yeah, what you got for me? And I'm like, whatever the fuck you want at half off is yours. This show has kicked my ass. I'm never coming back here. While we were at that show, Michael came up to me and he tried to get my business. And I told him, Michael, I'm not shipping with you because I'm happy where I am. I'm not going to ship with Debbie because where she's going is a brand new company. Right. So Debbie was in the same spot. This same spot that Robin is in is where Debbie was in way back when. Okay. So it's really okay for him to have a company. And I didn't mean for it to sound at all like I didn't want him to have a company. I just want to be sure we all are like on page of these 3 people have established companies. Michael's established that he's not that great. Ship Your Reptiles and Reptiles to You have struggled to be as best as they can. And I hope the fuck Redline does the same.
I guess some shipping advice for some people here too. I
had
an experience, and I think I mentioned this. You and I talked a little while back after I had an issue with losing some power. But anyways,
Bob Vu uses Reptiles Express. Sorry, Bob. Hope I didn't throw you a bus on that. Oh fuck.
All right, so
I'm just saying the one time we needed him, he didn't answer the phone. I'm not saying he always did. The one time we needed him, it didn't happen. So that's that.
So one thing you want to do is, I always, every time I ship one out, I take that tracking number, I put it in the FedEx app, so that way I'm tracking it constantly, get notified and all that kind of shit, right? And so I shipped this snake out to this guy. He was in California. It was a scaleless head, and pretty extreme, pretty high contrast, whatever, scaleless head. There's a lot of scales missing. It wasn't low expression, that's it, high expression.
Yeah, that's what I wanted when I bought one for 50 fucking grand. I want the one with the most bald head.
Right. So I shipped it out to this guy, and the next day I call him and stuff. Hey, you just make sure you're heading out there. You got the snakes at your hub and everything. He's like, oh yeah, I'm heading out that way. He's like, I'll let you know as soon as I get it and everything. Like, all right, cool. So he calls me back about an hour later. He's like, yeah, I got this. And man, it looks awesome. Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm like, all right, cool. So in my head, I'm like, okay, he's got it. He's just acknowledged it and everything. Right. Well, then I didn't go back on FedEx to double check anything. And then in the meantime, I was ordering up some tubs from Freedom Breeder, whatever tubs I was ordering from them. And they sent them through FedEx. So I went to, when they sent me the confirmation number or tracking number or whatever through FedEx, I went and added that to my thing. And I'm like, what the hell, this guy's snake package still shows that it's at the hub. I'm like, he picked it up. So I'm like, all right, what the heck's going on here? Call him up. I'm like, hey, I just want to make sure you got that snake from me, right? And he goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it. Which one was it again? I'm like, it's that scaleless head one with
great fucking story, bro. I love hearing this in private. I've had love this texted me.
I'm like, can you just, he's like, I'll double check. He goes down. He's like, oh, hold on a second. Let me go down there. And he pulls out the snake and he's like, yeah, this is the one. This is the one. No, you can't really tell that it's scaleless head. It's kind of low expression. I'm like, no, it's really high expression scaleless head. It should be like very obvious that it's scaleless head. He's like, oh man, I must not have got. I'm sorry.
He never picked it up. He never picked it up.
His response was the most classic response. He goes, I'm sorry.
Fuck.
I live in California.
Oh, shit.
I live in California and I've been medicating.
He's right. It was a weed excuse.
he goes, I'll have to go get that. And now keep in mind, this is about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. And this is an adult male ball python, right? So this male was probably I would say about 800 grams, 900 grams, whatever it was. I said, okay, I need you to go to FedEx tomorrow and pick this thing up, you know. So I got it in his case. I talked to Garrick, obviously, you know, like I said, I talk to Garrick all the time, and he's like, yeah, it might be dehydrated, but because it's an adult and it's summertime, it's at the hub, it should hopefully be fine. He's just probably going to be a little dehydrated.
How long was it?
Almost 2 weeks. It was a week and a half to 2 weeks. And
fuck.
and I know.
And wait a minute. Read 4S's response right here on the screen. I work for UPS and I see what goes on here. I would still use FedEx over UPS. They all suck, bro. It's the it's the care and stuff involved that while you're shipping that matters. Doug Nacker must have packed a good snake. You didn't pack it with some extra bedding and stuff.
Here's the thing too. FedEx
packed it with Reptile.
FedEx is supposed to send it back after X amount of days, and they didn't.
Right?
Obviously,
and they never did.
Fucking up.
No, they're supposed to send the next day air package back after like 2 days.
So he gets there the next day, right? And I'm on the phone. I have to work too, so I'm trying to like.
Christ.
He goes, I'll let you know as soon as I'm there. I'm on my way there right now. And I'm like, all right. So he calls, you know, and I get a notification too that hey, it was picked up. And I call him. I say, hey, everything okay? And he's like, you're not gonna believe this. Something, fuck, you know, he's dead. He's like, you're not gonna believe this. Not only is he okay, but it looks like you just shipped him yesterday. He's like,
well, surprising it didn't shed in the box. Because I mean, you think it would have grown a little bit off of its fat stores and shed.
Oh man,
and fucking 2 weeks. 2 weeks, like really, it could have. Like if you shipped it in the right period of time, you would have shipped a snake not in shed. Right, he would have picked up a shed out snake. From that fucking process. Like that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, and he goes, yeah, he was thirsty, that's for sure. I mean, I put him in, I had a water thing, and he was drinking right away. So I'm like, I would think so.
Man, and that's the thing. So, you're just fucking worried. And yeah, that's the thing. You worried about all that.
Yeah, so keep an eye on your tracking numbers and making sure that they're actually picked up, because like I said, the guy told me right out, he's like, yeah, this looks awesome, it's great. He forgot he had another package to pick up, and he only picked up that one.
He only picked up the one,
which is also on FedEx, because they should have been like, yeah, you have 2 packages here, not just one, right? You'd think that they would say, hey, you have 2 packages here. And he probably would have been like, oh, I do?
Yeah, but they might have used a different, they might have spelled his name wrong or some shit. Maybe, you never know. It's not all that obvious. It's not when you end up being like, I mean, most of us, right? Like most of us, our FedEx hubs know us, right? I mean, that's not a thing just for me. I mean, most of us, our FedEx hubs know us after a short while, you know.
The FedEx hub I go to, they know me, Garrick Meyer, and Kyle Hoffman, because we all
y'all are all clusterfuck of all you guys. Yeah, between Garrick and Kyle, man, that's a lot of fine ass snakes going through that hub.
Right.
So hey, if anybody's looking for some deals on snakes, move to that area, work at that hub, work there for like 6 months, wait for one good day in the fucking fall when you see all of these 3 gentlemen ship, take all of those boxes home with you, and then fucking flee. And you'll be on the road with like morphs, and you'll be ready to go. Like that is legitimately the way to go. Yeah, the Hoff. I agree. I should definitely try to get fucking Kyle on this show.
Oh God.
Because Kyle, but you know, Kyle and I have been friends for years, and that I've gone to bat for Kyle on a few of his political problems and stuff like that, you know. And Becca, you bought a bunch of shit from Kyle. We won't get into all that.
Kyle's got some really fucking awesome shit. He's been
he does have a bunch of good stuff, but that's because he worked in a fucking plant that I told him to quit like 10 years longer. And he's like, bro, how am I gonna quit? I'm working, I'm building money. And I'm like, because you can quit and focus on the snakes. And he's like, but I am focused on the snakes. I'm just spending all the money here and all of them. And I remember when he bought that fucking house for like $5. And I was like, dude, you just bought a place for $5 that's got like 15,000 snake rooms attached to it. Kyle Hoffman, for anybody that's not, you know, that's not listening. Yeah, he's a Blackheart's gonna pipe up and say snake heists to the history. That's perfect for you, bro. You're fucking Canadian, dude. You can smuggle in bitches back across the border. They can't do shit to you, right? I mean, because I know there's plenty of Canadian entry points with no real customs, right? Where you can just like go into Canada, where they're like, just don't come back with shit. You know, you want to go to Canada? Oh yeah, bring you whatever shit you've got, bring it out of America. Go to Canada. That's fine. You know. And that would be it. You should definitely do that, bro. You should bring the little. Have you seen his little trailer that he's building? No. You've seen Blackheart's snake room that he shares it. He shares something from it every 5 minutes of every hour on the hour, every day of the week, fucking 365 days of the year. the most sharing his fucking shit. He's got this little snake building. I say little, it might be giant, and he just has a shitty camera lens or some weird camera lens. But you got to go look up Michael Graham on Facebook. Okay, Blackheart Exotics. Okay, that's him. You see that wonderful logo that I can't wait to laser cut, because people, if you want me to laser cut you a badass sign, that fucking sign right there is that logo is the logo that I need. Okay. So in other words, this one that a tattoo guy drew that's got all the shading and stuff like that, yeah, that's almost fucking impossible. But like this guy's right here, and like Shane Kelly's, his logo is amazing. Your logo would be a fucking
mine
your
would be a
logo's
pain in the
vinyl.
ass.
Yeah, your logo's vinyl. Your snake's gonna be vinyl. That's it. I'm just gonna do vinyl. I'm just gonna get I'm gonna cut out a shape of a snake, and I'm just gonna vinyl right over it. That's it.
So I just gotta find a way
to
do it in 2 different colors.
So yeah, dude, nobody knows you, dude. Well, how come you show up on my shit so much? I'm the only motherfucker that loves you. So he's got this little snake room, and it's decorated like super nice, like it's the man cave that everybody wants to go in. Like, dude, listen to me. If your snake room, Doug, looked like this guy's snake room, your wife would have left. Like your wife would have gone.
Yeah,
your wife would have been like, "Yeah,
I
never see him.
Yeah,
That's it. Nope. It looks like he's really comfortable out there." So Michael goes and buys a trailer to go to shows, right?
Okay.
So instead of doing the whole hotel room thing at shows, it's becoming the new thing to build yourself a little she shed in the fucking trailer, right? Yeah, I gotta call it a man cave, because no man would be caught with a fucking 5 square foot man cave, you know. But the she shed, you know, that'll work. Okay, so he buys a little trailer, and he's gonna make it like the snake trailer. Then at nighttime, they got fold out bunks and like a shitter in there and a TV and stuff, and they can stay in there and save, right? And save money. And so I go to Herp shows, right? The Herp's exotic reptile and pet shows, herpshow.net. They're not a sponsor, but I love them. They're like my family. So please go and support them. They'll probably sponsor me eventually if I want a show to sponsor me that doesn't need it. Like, I don't need that. Like, they don't need me, you know, and neither one of us really would help. But I will tell you this, man. I mean, oh, look, my fucking exhaustion just kicked in, and I fucking lost my train of thought. But look, that was it. When I went to the last Herp show, I'm loading very late. Like, it's like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and I'm leaving like just like an hour after loading closed. I'm leaving, and I see a trailer backed up to the center and a cord coming out of it, and I see the TV playing in it, and I'm like, there you go. That's it. That's what Michael's building, you know? And so I think we should wait to do the podcast from inside the chill zone, you know, since it actually has a name, the chill zone. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make him a sign. I'm going to do the signage for the chill zone, bro. So it's got like industry signs around the inside of the chill zone. I told him, I was like, bro, we're going to decorate the chill zone with some crazy ass signs, so that because he shares so much shit, it's like, you know, somebody will see it. It'll be cool. But I really think it's a cool idea, man. Like, you know how much money I've spent on hotel rooms the years that I've been to reptile shows to make money? Like, it's pretty obscene, actually.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about how much money you spend, you know, going to a show.
Those hotels. And if you go to 2 days, you spend almost
2 days. 2 days Daytona. Thursday check-in, Friday setup, Saturday, Sunday. Then you're too tired to drive home Monday. 5 fucking days, bro. You know, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, 4 nights. Right, 4 nights.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
So
yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
My daughter just had a hockey camp, and we actually went to it was in Green Bay. A month prior to that, the hotel that we were going to stay at was $150 for the night. No, $120 for the night, and we stayed 2 nights. So what, $240, right? So then a month later, she had a hockey camp in Green Bay again. I'm like, oh, we'll stay at the same hotel. Just so happened to be that the Green Bay Packers fucking training camp was that week, open to the public, and that same hotel jumped up to $350 a night.
Yep.
Just
that happened here that happened here for a Herp show, because the NCAA Final Four is in New Orleans.
Sure.
You know? So dude, the Final Four was in New Orleans the same weekend as Herp's, and my buddy Nick Markham called to get a hotel room, called me up and was like, bro, what the fuck? Hotel rooms are fucking $300, $400 a night. And I was like, yeah, bro, the NCAA tip-off's in town. He's like, oh, fuck. And I'm like, well,
Right.
better go to a sleeping fuck. Better go find out one. We got a strip club. We got a strip club in my county. There's only one strip club in my county that's grandfathered in, and the name of it is Scuttlebutts. And I told him to go to the sleeping fuck that's right next door to Scuttlebutts. And I'm like, dude, go to the sleeping fuck. They probably got room over there, But that's it. But yeah, John Feely writes, yeah, but write-offs. John, let me tell you something, John. Do you have an accountant, John? Because you have an animal business, John. And if you don't think that this business has enough write-offs already to where you don't need to lose money on a hotel room to have a write-off for a hotel room, bro, losing money is losing money. I wish a write-off equaled as much as the Hilton bill every year. Oh, shit. Paul lives in Slidell. But it's one of my old reefer guys, one of my reefer buddies. Thanks for hanging out for an hour and 9 minutes so far, Paul. You're a trooper. Scuttle's finally closed for good earlier this year. Fuck. They probably just couldn't keep the pregnant bitches rolling in. But yeah, man. So let's talk about some customer service real quick, and then we're going to talk about your family. Okay. So there was one other issue that hit the fan this week. Yep. That wasn't an animal con or a shipping related issue. And I'm, again, not going to mention names, not going to throw people under the bus, but it is a very well-stood ball python company, I'd say, for 15 years, maybe. Been a while, right? I'm not wrong there, right?
Right.
I don't know the time, and I'm not asking you the time, but definitely a well-founded company.
Yep.
Had an issue. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yep.
Okay. So this leads to the disparagement of values in ball pythons. This is something that I'm concerned about, and coming into this thing, I'd really like to understand. I'm not saying I'm going to control it. I'm not going to say I'm changing it. I'm not going to say I want to even try to influence it, but I want to understand it.
Right.
The disparagement of price between a male and a female of some of these incredibly inflated combinations. Okay.
Right.
In case in point, I believe the male was $600. $600
or $700, I think.
$600 or $700 was the male. The female, I think, was $2,000.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Now, the breeder in question sexed the snake, and it was a hyper vag, right? Like it had, because if you're really good at popping ball pythons and you do it for long enough, you will start to put enough pressure that you invert the tubercles into a female, and you actually think it's a male. That two tiny little red hemipene looking things come out. They're red, but they're super tiny. Like they're really thin, and they're like dainty, and like you would never want to be the man that was born with that, much less grew up with that, right? And then sold the snake as a male.
Yep.
Because it was sexed as a male on a payment plan, I believe.
Yeah, but I believe it was paid off on the male price. The male price was paid off.
The male price was paid off before shipment.
He was getting ready to get it shipped.
Double sexed the snake, and the snake was the wrong sex. It turned out to be a girl.
Yep.
At which point he told the owner, the buyer, and the buyer made a statement that he wanted to continue with the $600 deal, right? Because he got a $2,000 snake for $600. Now, at which point the dealer didn't handle business necessarily as good as or whatever as maybe should have happened. Like I'm obviously like, dude, this is me rolling on eggshells. If you've never heard a wheelchair roll on eggshells, that's what it just sounded like for me to be the new ball shit. That's not the old ball shit. That's got some still ball shit to say, right? Because this is still ball shit, right? So really, what's your take on it, bro? Like, let's scenario. Let's
very
say,
strong.
like,
I got some very strong opinions on
this. Is your scenario, okay?
Yes,
like, so this is Doug Nacker does business 101. Look, hey, all right, I'm muting myself, bro. Go.
All right, so here it is. So basically, he said he wanted him to pay the remaining amount to get that $2,000 mark. If he wanted it as that, he wanted that female. Okay, you paid $600-$700, whatever. You need to pay the other $1,300 or $1,400, so that way you got that female at that price, right? That's what it's like. Whoa, hold on, you had it listed at $700 or $600 or whatever, and it was your mistake. You missexed it. I paid what it was. It was paid off in full, and now you're saying I owe you more if I want to get it. All right. So if you go to, let's say you go to Walmart and they have something in the wrong spot, and then the price is in your favor, and you say, hey, this is in the wrong spot, I should get this price. I have not seen a time where they have not honored the price in the wrong spot, or if they forget to take the sale sign down or whatever. They will honor that
Circuit
price.
City went out of business for stupid shit like this. I think. I think this is what did Circuit City in, because I can't tell you how many times I bought Xboxes at the wrong price and resold them on fucking eBay.
Right. Okay. So exactly the customer? There's an old adage, and everybody knows it. Sean, you know this. What does they say? The customer is always right. So
I disagree because I ran an aquarium store.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And you got to draw the line.
Maybe not always right.
Okay,
maybe not always right.
Let's draw the line there. All right, before we get you carried away.
So,
Wait. In the famous words in Snakes and the Fat Man, calm down now. Calm down now. Calm down now.
Come on. All right. So, all right. So I also do DJ and stuff too, right? So it I'm able to kind of look at it in different aspects besides the snake thing. Okay, if it was my snake, let's say I just had it for sale. Okay, yeah, that fucking sucks. You're gonna lose out on whatever. However, you that's your fault. You're the one who did not properly have that listed. Person paid off what that person was assuming was that amount. That's the budget that the person maybe had or whatever. Hopefully you learn a better lesson for next time and move on from it. Now, in the opposite spectrum, if let's say it was a $2,000 female, and all of a sudden, and this is always where it's worse because the females are usually worth way more than the males, especially once it's an established gene, right? So let's say it was flip-flopped and it was $2,000 female, paid whole $2,000, sexes it, hey man, it's a male. Now you kind of go with you're not like, oh, well, that's too bad. You bought it for $2,000. You're going to get this snake. No, as a seller, I would say, hey, you have basically $1,300 worth of credit.
When it's shame on you, when it's shame on the breeder, it's good. It's like, congratulations, customer. When it's shame on the customer, it's let me take care of you.
Right.
Right. Like that's kind of what you're saying.
And the bottom line is, it's your reputation on the line. How you want to handle your reputation is up to you. If you want your customers to be pissed at you and you start getting a bad rap from other customers and people not to trust you, then you go ahead and fuck your customers over. I will take the short end of the stick every time it comes to my customers, because they're the ones that are gonna keep me selling snakes if I'm selling snakes. So they're gonna want to keep me DJing their weddings or their events or whatever the fuck I'm doing, because hey, this guy will treat you right. He will be there for you. He'll answer your questions. He won't fuck you over. You know, my DJ prices have changed over the last couple of years, but anybody who locked me in at my previous price gets that fucking price when I DJ their wedding, even if it's next year and I'm already making more on my other weddings.
I would love to add something here, because this actually goes to tune to the satisfaction of OnlyFans members as well. At the end of the day, bro, you're providing a service that costs you time.
Right.
Okay. DJing? Oh, bro, if you're not willing to throw somebody a free gig or give them a slight discount when they're pissed off, when you have basically a labor only cost, right? I mean, obviously I know your gear is costly but once that's paid for, right, you have this labor only cost, which allows you to do a lot. It allows you to bend somebody over if they're a fucking asshole to you. Right. That's where I learned. My friend that taught me the asshole fee is dead. Now, I don't know if that's karma or not. He died in a tragic motorcycle accident. His name was Greg Maxwell. And he taught me a valuable lesson called the asshole fee. I did the aquarium maintenance on his aquarium in his Mercedes-Benz repair shop when I was a teenager. And I got to listen to how he handled Mercedes-Benz and Porsche repair customers. And how he dealt with them was amazing. He'd tell them, listen, we're a great shop here. We're very responsive, and we call you as soon as your car is ready. Please don't call us until we call you. Thank you. Have a nice day. And then he'd go back in the shop. And it was my express understanding that if they called and I answered the phone while he was in the shop, while I was working on the aquarium, and they asked if their car was ready, I was supposed to look their name up in the book, add $15 to their miscellaneous shop fee charge, and then hand the keys to a mechanic, and they would move their car to the back of the line. And that's any single person that called to check on their car to see if their car was ready. He would do that. Add $15, put your car at the back of the line. There was an old lady that came in and she was like, I don't understand why it took 4 months to fix my car but I sure am glad you got it finally. And her miscellaneous shop fee bill was $135. That's wrong. That's wrong.
Right.
To nickel and dime your customers and asshole fee your customers like that, it is wrong.
Yep.
But at the same time, you have to build your cost in. And if you're doing something like labor, like DJing, you could definitely throw some fucking discounts. If you're a snake breeder, you can definitely throw some discounts. Now, I would like to acknowledge this, but not in a way that I'm going to tell you the deal. But Will's Hella Heat said the breeder in question, is he actually a breeder or just a broker? I heard tonight they weren't even a breeder, but that's hearsay until proven. I'm going to say this company is both a breeder and a broker, because a lot of companies are both breeders and brokers, and that's not a bad thing. You know, I mean, everybody loves Bob Vu, and Bob Vu made his collection on investing the money he made from the insurance industry and buying and reselling morphs from good breeders like me and Brian Barchak and other people like that had good, solid animals that Bob bought, housed, and if he didn't need them, resold them. And there was nothing wrong with that. There was no flippers and all that shit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to re-click you there, Chris. There was no flippers and all that type of stuff. But in this case, if he's a broker, however, and he bought the snake in question and he's reselling it now, wouldn't he have paid the male price? And if he's not, if he's a broker and he's consigning the animal, that might be the problem. Maybe. But it's, again, not my place, because Exotics by Nature has always sold its own production. And if I did resell, I said, yeah, I bought this thing as a bait. Like the gray banded king snake I just shipped this week for like $800. I bought it as a hatchling for $75 and assist fed it and everything to get it bigger. You know what I mean? I bought the fucking snake. I never bred it, but I raised it up to an adult and it was a virgin and I sold it for $800, you know? But I told the guy, dude, I did not make this, right? I didn't produce this. It's still very transparent when I don't produce something. I'm like, look, we didn't produce this. Or like in the case of corn snakes last year, I had a massive amount of badass, like high-end morph. When I say high-end morph corn snakes, $500 a piece on corn snakes that sell like that. Dude, that's money right there. That makes ball python money almost look small because the expenses are smaller and the production is bigger, right? More numbers of production for less money. This particular case, like, you know, whatever. So
looking at some of the comments too, like I did see, so the guy was being kind of a dick to the seller, you know.
What comment? Address me so I can click it.
Let's see here.
Which one was it? I lost for a minute there while I was jumping around.
Now? Oh, yeah, Beast Morphs. But then the buyer was cocky as hell right off the bat and probably should have been a little more chill. So yeah,
absolutely. There's a flip to the script right there, right? I mean, so that's it.
Yeah, it would have rubbed me the wrong way. But at the same time, I don't know if it would have gotten to that point because I'd have been like, oh my gosh, you know, I screwed up. I think there was a refund offered. The refund was offered, but he's like, well, no, I'd like to keep that. I want that snake, you know.
That's kind of a thing right there. That's kind of a thing. So, have you had a lot, like how many animals, if you had to just take a wild stab, how many animals you've sold? Just fucking throw a stupid number. It doesn't even have to be accurate. Like I'm not, like 1,000, 500.
A few hundred, maybe a couple
hundred,
for sure. A few hundred,
400, something like that. Okay. So if you're a big dealer, not even me who produced thousands of snakes a year for tens of like decades, for 2 decades, right? Not even me. But if you're one of these bigger people like that, wouldn't you just want to sweep it under the rug? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like you want to be like, listen, I'm going for a 5-star review here, right? Like I'm going for a 5-star review. Like with the aquarium shop, dude, I went for a 5-star review. And you know what's awesome? I have on Google, you guys can go look up Aquatics by Nature on Google and read it yourself. It's fucking hilarious. If you want to see some bullshit, go read those fucking reviews. Don't read the 5-star reviews. Go read the 1-star reviews. Because the amazing thing about my aquarium store is we were open for 3 whole years. We have 69 to 75 5-star reviews. 4-star reviews, we have 0. 3-star reviews, we have 0. 2-star reviews, we have 0. 1-star reviews, we have 6. And they all conform around me and my attitude and how the people were talked to and how and where they were told to fuck off to and whatever else. And you know what's funny? One of them, 1-star reviews, they give no feedback. So it was probably just a 1-star review from somebody who just wanted to help out a competitor. The second one was some people that when Gabriel Murphy worked for me, the people came in Gabe and my other employee, Sadie, were in the back. I audibly heard them ask the people if they needed help twice. And as soon as the people left, they left us a 1-star review. And they said the kids in the back were cursing and didn't ask them their help. And that was completely untrue. And it was April fucking Fool's Day. And I never heard of the people and never saw them again. So again, somebody else. But the 4 people that have real solid 1-star reviews have zero credibility because it had nothing to do with the store. It had nothing to do with the quality of livestock and everything else. It had to do with the fact that they weren't happy with how they were treated because they felt the customer should be right here and that they were just, fuck it, the customer should be right here. And I'm like, no, we lose way too much money in the aquarium industry for the customer to always be right, right? I'll help you, but you're not going to always be right. One of us is going to be right, or we're both going to be wrong. And at the end of the day, this is what I'm all about. Okay, so I'm all about solving problems. All right, so it's ironic here, Doug. I want to quickly share you a story, and then we're going right into your family shit for the rest of this shit episode. To be all about you and the old lady and your kids and everything else, bro. This has been an awesome, fun, news, controversial. I'm having fun with you doing this. I think you're a great person to do this type of show with, bro. So you know what? Maybe we do controversial news on our show, but not controversial like bullshit like people thought this was going to be. Motherfuckers, some of y'all motherfuckers tuned in here tonight because you thought I was going to go ape shit on motherfuckers. Come on, be honest, dog. Come on, Nacker.
I was waiting for it. I was like, you know what? That's fucking.
This shit's gonna roll, bro. This is gonna fucking, oh, this is gonna be bad. You know, no, not at all. Like, not at all. Like, I am a completely different person than I was fucking in 2017, 18, the way I'm handling the politics of this shit. But the politics can't be swept under the rug. And I'm not going to be the podcaster on YouTube that is, I'm not saying I'm everybody's enemy. I'm not saying I don't want friends and brotherly love, but I'm not going to be over there tugging on motherfuckers that don't always enjoy the tug. I might not mention them if I don't want to tug on them or not tug on them, but I'm not going to go out of my way to fucking wreck them. But let me just tell you this quick story, okay? I have a girl that messaged me on Morph Market to buy an adult corn snake that I'm retiring as a breeder. Now, I don't know if she'd intended to breed it or not, although in the ad, I have clearly written, this is a retiring animal. This is not a good animal to breed. You guys, I can show you, I can show you a thread, or with the photograph of this corn snake where it is very, very thin in the photograph. Actually, look, let's really, you know what? I'm not even going to bother with it. I'll share a link in the description. How about that to the snake, just so you can see. The snake is very thin in the photograph. Now, in the photograph, it's shortly after the snake laid eggs, and the snake's been doing well. Everything was fine and good. The girl is in California. Okay. Now, granted, I'm homing this snake for $100 plus $60 shipping, right? So I'm not making a lot of money on it. I'm just trying to make ends meet where it's like, give me a little food money, gives me a little extra shipping. She's in California, right? And I got to ship an adult corn snake in a box this big. So that's going to cost me what? Even with my discount, like $95 fucking dollars, probably.
Probably $100 for the ship.
Probably. Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
With your like box fees and all that other shit.
Between the box, the $10 box and bags and all that shit. Yeah, absolutely. So basically, guys, hit that like and hit the subscribe button if you want to hear more shit like this for Doug. I mean, I appreciate that, Primitive. Thank you a lot for not making me feel like a shithead like the other guy earlier for not saying anything, right? But here's the deal, okay? So this wonderful customer is like I don't know her age, but her mother is having to send me this $160 in pieces, okay? Like, not all at once, not even all in 1 week, okay? So money, they live in Los Angeles proper, like live right in the fucking middle of Los Angeles. I can imagine what their bills are like being a standard family of people that have to live in that fucking city. I couldn't imagine that, much less a young, aspiring herper, male or female, doesn't matter. Even though this was a girl, male or female, should not have to struggle like this, right? To have their hobby. Like, you and I don't have that problem, Doug. We have plethora of space. Look at that room you're sitting in, bro. See, that drop ceiling goes a good bit. Like, that's a nice looking room.
Right.
They don't have a room that size in Los Angeles without 5 people living in it. Like, that's it. They don't. So the girl pays the snake off slowly. She's ready to get it shipped. This Monday, I'm shipping it. Man, she's on my ass all weekend. Are we shipping? Is it coming? Is it coming? You know, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I understand you're an eager young herper, and I fucking love seeing this type of person on my Morph Market page. It feels so fucking good to know that I'm this close to ground zero and I'm not up in the fucking clouds like a bunch of my friends were, because I was never there as a ball python breeder. You know that. A multi-species guy, I'd always treat a $10 corn snake sale like a $10,000 ball python sale, and it never had a difference. So the snake threw up over the weekend, bro, and it's skinny as fuck, and it's like 12, and it's laid eggs like 10 times, right? This little herper is not ready for this, Doug, because I'm going to send this girl this snake, and it's going to start puking on her every week. And it's not going to stop, and it's going to drop weight, and it can't afford to drop weight because it's already dropped enough weight from breeding this year when it really probably should have just been, shelved this year here. But she ovulated. So, we do with ovulating reptiles. We let them ovulate because that's what reptiles are on Earth for, to breed and make more reptiles. They're not here to entertain us. They're not. They're here to expand themselves. They're here to breed and make more. So it's part of their condition, right? So I tell the girl on Monday, I got to break this girl's heart, bro. You know how hard that was to call this kid and be like, fuck, kid, it's the day of shipping. You've been waiting for the snake for 2 months or a month and a half or whatever. And here I am telling you, I'm not going to ship it.
Right.
You know what I told her? I said, I want you to go on my inventory and I want you to pick any snake without shipping included in the price, any snake up to $200. And I'll ship that snake to you. Doesn't matter what it is. Right. Then she got the snake and she had nothing but great things to say to me and nothing but nice stuff and so understanding about the female and all this shit, like so understanding. Right. And I thought, man, this is a cool young herper. So I let her sit on the snake. She got the snake. She got I didn't ship Monday. I waited for her to make the choice right on Monday night. And then I shipped Tuesday and she received it Wednesday. She's already sent me like 3 pictures of the snake in different scenarios, right? Raving over the snake. Yesterday, I messaged her and I said, I want you to do me a favor. I want you in the next month or 2 to save up $100. And she's like, well, for what? And I said, for shipping, because your fucking shipping costs a lot of money. Your fucking shipping costs a fortune.
Right.
I'm going to send you, and this is not for posterity. I'm just saying this on this subject. I did not give this girl these snakes so I could tell you this on this podcast, because I've given people snakes so many fucking times that I've never mentioned it. This is probably the first time I'm publicly mentioning a situation where I have given the young person or any person something that I've talked about it in a posterity in a way that could be seen as posthumous, right? So this is not about posterity. This is about decency and loving your fellow hobbyist. Okay. I told the girl, you want scaleless corn snakes, right? Yeah, but they're so expensive. Scaleless corns, guys, are about $500, $600. Then het scaleless are about half that, right? Which they should be, because it's a fucking badass project. Nothing like the ball pythons. If y'all want some if you want snakes that feel like scrotums, buy scaleless corn snakes, because they live and they shed and they breed and they sell and they make money and they just feel like scrotums the whole time while they do it. They never not feel like they don't feel any less of a scrotum than a ball python does, except on the bottom of them. They feel like a corn snake. They don't feel like a scrotum. That's the difference. You can have them and you can love them and you can breed them and you can make money, and you can have something amazing and it's not a piece of shit or need massive special care. So I told the girl, if you give me $100, I'm shipping you a pair of het scaleless corn snakes for you to raise. And because you live in the city of, and this is exactly what I said before she could even respond. I said, because you live in the city of Los Angeles, at any point in time, if you need to sell these snakes are your snakes to sell. And every dollar you make off them is your money to keep. I'm not paying for your fucking shipping, though. That was it. I'm not like, you know what she should do? She should jump on Redline shipping and get 60% off of 2 shipments so that one of them can be for these snakes and save me some money, and whatever she saves off the 100 she keeps. Right. But the $100 wasn't to earn money. The $100 wasn't for anything other than I gave the girl more than she originally set out to do. But do you know what? And what sat with me, Doug? She expected an adult snake that was one snake, and she got a yearling snake that was another snake. And even though it was a better snake and a more valuable snake and more genes and much cooler looking, in my opinion, as an expert, it wasn't the original snake she picked from my fucking 100 snake inventory.
Right.
And I felt bad. That's it. And I wanted to help. So that's what I fucking did. So yeah, there you go. Like you end up getting, you know, Will posted this. You end up making an ass of yourself in that situation. Fuck you. Seen another Facebook post on Dave Green today too. Buyer got tore apart because he was 100% in the wrong and sketchy. Will's hella heat. Thank you for posting that, Will. Because honestly, that's just, you don't act an ass. You don't act an ass. You come to me and you approach me and you say, we had a problem. Because I'm going to do so much shit for you.
Right.
Okay? Look who's in the house. This motherfucker right here. He comes in. He comes in, you know why? Because he didn't want to listen to me, and he wanted to listen to you. I think we put this issue to bed too, right, Doug? So that's not one. Yep. That's not two. That's but three fucking major, potentially bullshit Sean damning issues.
Right.
No? That we talked about tonight. And honestly, I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you a lot.
You know,
I appreciate it.
Not only is it that you get, you know, she got the 3 snakes out of it.
Yeah,
but also it was the experience she dealt with in the reptile community, in the reptile industry, hobby, whatever you want to call it. That experience is going to stay with her.
Yeah, and Chris said even better than I thought. That kid will remember what you did for her and pass it on. Yes, indeed. That's what Doug Nacker's driving at, guys. Will you make your fucking bed? You know what that corn snake means to me? It means, let me see, about this, I'd say probably about $12. I'd say right now, given the state of things, it cost me about $12 to make a corn snake.
Right.
Doesn't matter that corn snake's 500 or 30. It still cost me $12 to make it. Hey guys, you know all those ball pythons and stuff you got? If you're really good, wait. If you're a really good private breeder, you probably got about $75 a head in your ball pythons. Just so you know. Okay, if you're a mass producing breeder like Mark Bell, you have, you ready for this? $35 in a ball python. You think you can compete with that? You can't. Thank God we're not at the price of what it costs to sell a snake based on a hard to make it cost like every other product and most other products in our world.
That's like, you know, the thing everybody always says too, you know, it costs the same amount to feed a normal than it does, you know, Desert Ghost Clown or whatever.
That's absolutely right.
It doesn't cost any more to feed a morph or a combo of any sort than it does the next one.
You know what? Every time I donated a puzzle to USARK, it cost me $75 to do it. And it raised 50 grand for USARK in like 6 or 7 years. That's pretty decent for one project to do that kind of shit. For when you don't care about the value of it.
Right.
When the West brothers looked at me and said, "You're really going to give that snake to the auction just so that you can spite us in this sale?" I said, "Yeah, dude. You're going to buy it from NARBC. I mean, you're going to buy it from USARK. Because at this point, you guys rolled into this industry. You spread your cash around. You shit all over most of us that were doing good, hard work here by throwing money at us and trying to basically cut our throats, right? All that. I mean, shit, you heard Ballsh go on a podcast and straight up admit that they ripped them off for $120,000. You know, I mean, same people, right? But fuck it. At the end of the day, dude, I was not taking their money, Doug. And you know what I told them? When I gave that snake to USA, it was the Buzz that auctioned for $5 grand in Daytona that year. When I gave that fucking Buzz to the USARK people right in front of the West brothers, he said, "Are you fucking serious?" And I was like, you know what? You can buy it from them. You haven't done a fucking single thing to help any of us, but basically tell us we're poor and we're hungry and we need your money. So tonight, if you want this fucking puzzle, you're going to go to that auction and you're going to fucking spend money and you're going to buy it. And they said, "Yeah, you made a mistake. We're going to get that snake for $1,500 tonight." And if anybody remembers a guy named Ben Siegel, who had a pot to piss in, right? Like Ben might have carried himself like he didn't have much money most of the time, but Ben did very well for himself. Ben sat in that audience and Ben looked at me and said, "Them two are the ones?" And I said, "Yep." And he said, "They're going to pay at least $5 grand for that snake." And they paid $5,500 for that pair of snakes that night. You know, and at the end of the night, everybody was like, dude, you really seriously gave those snakes up? And I was like, yeah. And they were at my table to buy them from me today. Fuck them. Fuck them.
Right.
I don't need that $5,000. I'm already poor. I'm already handicapped. I'm already not on disability and making it in the world. What the fuck do I need your $5,000 for you to shit on me? It wasn't $5,000 when they were offering it to me anyway. It was $3,000 for fucking $6,000 worth of snake. Fuck you. USARK got $5,500 for $6,000 worth of snake. You know? So, all right, brother. Tell us about this knackerism. Tell us about your family.
Holy
Tell
shit.
me. So I remember. So the Doug Nacker that I left in October, well, in March, Tinley Park, 2019. He was hungry. He was thirsty. He was ready to suck a dick for a Diet Coke. I'm not really sure. He looked bad. He looked bad.
Who told you about that? No.
Yeah, well, you heard about Chris and all his accomplishments last night on that podcast. I'm not going to get into, right? That was a funny spot right there. It got a little sticky with all that silence on the first one, though. I don't think anyone was ready for that first one. Okay.
All right.
But yeah, Shane in the house. Sponsor Shane, Small Town Exotics in the house. And I got an announcement to make that I won't forget about real quick before I forget. Just for Shane, just for everybody else listening to the Bullshit Podcast today, my incredibly technologically ill-equipped ass finally got the first Chris Eaton Bullshit episode on the podcast network. Okay, tonight. I did it tonight. So I don't know if the RSS feed's refreshed already yet, but you guys, the Chris Eaton podcast is on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, every fucking place you can put up podcast and pay for it, it's there. Okay. Well, for me to pay for it, not for you to pay for it. Obviously, I'm not paywalling shit. I never paywalled anything. I'm not starting today. Okay. But the reason it's taken me this long is I've had some technical issues here, but the audio bullshits, not that you really want to hear more of my sexy voice. The audio bullshits have a unheard pre-show and post-show by me that may include the guest later. Like if Doug Nacker here was like, dude, when we do my real episode, not this bullshit, when we do my real episode, I forgot something. And you know what we'll do? We'll go re-record it and we'll throw it because we're going to do this gap. Okay, Shane, this is going to be a thing I do. I'm going to set it in stone that I'm going to promise you that I do it from here on out. When a show airs and it goes on the audio format, it's going to happen 1 week after the airing, 7 days after the airing. I want as many people to come here and give our YouTube a chance as possible. I want to make as many people or encourage as many people to come here. And you know what? Shane and I had a talk today a little bit, and I hope we can figure everything out on a timely manner and get it all up by Wednesday, because I think I want to get it all up by Wednesday, including the After Darks, because this shit's too good. This shit's too good not to put on audio, bro. We're going to put it all up. I was just going to put the feature episodes up, Doug, but we're going to put it all up. And so if you forget something and you're like, dude, I forgot. And I'm like, fucking call me. Let's record it and we'll put it on the pre or the post. And then when they listen to it, they've got extra. So, and it's not paywalled. It's extra and it's not paywalled. So when I go homeless and broke, I can't say I was bad with money. I could just say I never got any to begin with. Right? I never got paid to begin with. I did it all for free. And these little sponsors and stuff that I did for next to nothing to sponsor me, because now everybody's going to be like, dude, how much does next to nothing cost? Like, I might want to sponsor this shit. It's sounding kind of good. Sounds like you've been to therapy maybe and stuff, you know? Like I've had some great feedback, Doug. So I'm really wanting to know, how the fuck did you make it out of that hole I left you in? Tell me.
Yeah. So it was pretty much me versus my wife when it came to the ball python shit. It's in everything kind of at that point. So I was working at a paper mill, working fucking shit hours, you know, night shift, day shift. It was like a southern swing shift thing. And so when I wasn't doing that, I was pretty much just, I would say 99% focused on ball python shit. I wanted to do as much with what I didn't have as possible, to the point where it was really affecting my relationship with my kids, my wife, everything. I was really, I'll admit I was a fucking shit dad and a shit husband to my family, because I was so wrapped up in the ball python stuff.
Much like now, fucking into your Friday night with your family. Much like this night that I cut into.
Screw them. They're doing other shit.
Yeah, they got popcorn movies. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I heard him screaming.
Meanwhile, you tell me that you bought them all cars to do this show, right? Right? You wouldn't believe what this shit's costing me, bro.
Yeah. No, you want ice cream? Will shut them the fuck up.
Well, hey, man, if they're still young enough for that to work, then by all means, ice cream ball fucking
the little
day.
ones, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Get sick.
but I was shit with like money and everything where I was well, I didn't have the DJ thing going. It was just paper mill money, and I was also paying child support for my 2 boys that were there every other weekend and all that stuff. So I really, the little bit that I had for what I should have used for bills and all that stuff, I was doing some shit. I bought 2 snakes from Ozzy that I basically took a high interest loan out because my credit was getting so
Can I
shitty.
ask you a question, bro? Are you on top of that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're on top of it now. Okay.
On top of it now, shit,
Okay.
we actually are, we're getting stuff taken care of around the house now.
I'm going to tell you one thing. One of the most traumatic show experiences I ever had was I went to a show and a woman showed up there and she yelled at me at my table. I try not to cry right now because I don't feel responsible, but like I had a hand in it, right? Her husband had secretly second mortgaged their house for spiders and pins and all that stuff back in the day, and he lost their fucking house and everything. And all their savings and everything. And she had left him and she came to the reptile show with her children and she cursed me out at the show at my table. And that was something. That was something. And I had to be like, listen, look, you know what? Listen, this is a good time for this banner to come back up again. Entertainment purposes only, not be considered financial advice. This is one that I took from the crypto boys that I thought was cute. Do your own research, meaning case in point, some people that we know that spent $400 and some $1,000 with people on ball pythons a few years ago when they were 15 years old. You can't just buy snakes and breed snakes. There's a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of sacrifices that have to go along the way. And so thank you, Doug. Thank you for having that beautiful room behind you that I know has a beautiful family next to it or near it. It would kill me if I thought you lost shit in your life like that for this.
Well, yeah. And
so thank you for having the right.
Well, and I don't know. I mean, it was a while ago when you and I were recording that one episode that, again, thankfully, for me, on my end, thankfully it didn't air. I know you said it would have been great if it would have.
Well, you know what else I lost on that disc is Jeff Byers. And Jeff Byers is like, yeah, what are you going to do this time when I do ball shit? You're going to lose it again? Well, guess what, Jeff Byers? This time it's live and I don't even record it. This board accepts a memory stick that I don't even have in it.
Right.
I don't even have memory stick in it. I don't even record right now. I'm not even recording. If StreamYard fucks this up, I don't have a recording for you. Now, that's not going to happen past this week. I've got cards on the way. The backup recordings, right? I got a fucking whatever. But yeah, dude, I'm sorry that we lost that episode, but it sounds like it was the right move, maybe. You know, sounds like maybe you took the card.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Because I never found that card, right? So I'm glad you and Jeff never said any damning shit because whoever found that fucking card at a reptile show fell out of my backpack on my wheelchair, dude. They had some juicy shit.
Well, you know, and thinking, I remember saying stuff on. I remember that night. I remember it vividly because I was in the garage. She was in the house taking care of the kids. I was just fucking venting on her and why she doesn't get it and what. Like, I don't know how she doesn't fucking understand this and that. And, there's
So you're saying if it had aired, that might have been it. Or you would have been sitting in divorce court and all of a sudden you heard.
Right.
And you're like,
where did you get that?
Where did you get that? He told me he lost it. Yeah, you're sitting in court right there and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, it was, and then I was. I don't know.
There you go. I remember some of Doug's videos when he was getting out and selling stuff off. He was in damn near in tears. It was hard to watch. Yeah, bro. I am so loving that you're here.
Yeah. Well,
you have no fucking clue how much I love this.
It was a hard fucking time of my life because, I was like, my wife and I, we weren't even sleeping in the same bed. I was sleeping on the couch or she'd sleep on the couch, but we weren't ever sleeping together. Anything. The kids.
Now you've had another kid.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another story. Anyways, but the thing is like I had to step away from everything. I did not want to sell all the shit and everything, and I literally bought those ball pythons from Ozzy, and then, I'm like, oh shit, I was on a payment plan, and I was like, I gotta get this money fast, and I didn't have it. I'm like, fuck it, I'll take out this loan and I'll just have it paid off real quick here. I'll sell some shit. Well, guess what? Not every goddamn clutch you hatch is gonna have awesome fucking odds. So when I could have made like 10 grand in a clutch of eggs, and I only made like $800 because I hatched out like shit that was pos het whatever instead of the visuals and stuff that I could have made. This doesn't always fucking work out that way. So then it's like, God, I got to come up with the money somehow. And then I obviously you can't count your chickens before they hatch. And, you know, or I should say,
I call that the Doc Brown scenario from Back to the Future, where you got to like run through salt water during a lightning storm and get up to a certain speed to establish that clutch, you know? I use that same Doc Brown analogy with aquariums, dude. It's same thing. Like you're gonna do that good. Yeah, everything's gonna be great, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see what happens when you're let's see what happens when your fucking incubator fails. Well, let's see what happens when you're right there. Like you spend as much money as you could spend on a thermostat. Doesn't stop an incubator failure.
Right.
I'm one of the only people heard that knock, saw me blur out when I just banged on my desk. Knock on wood, bro.
Yeah. Well, you know, and
look at this motherfucker. Nah, I gotta risk it for the biscuit. Says the stay-at-home mom that goes to school during the day while his kids play. I love you, John. I can't wait to do ball shit. AB. It's gonna sound like ball. I better shut the fuck up. I'm ready to do the ABCs with this dude and have him risk it for the biscuit. So I'm not going to be hearing. Yeah, he's so full of shit, bro. He's such a family man.
This is funny, actually. A while back, I guess my name got brought up on Chris Eaton's show. I can't remember what the fuck it was, or maybe it was during one of the Zoom things we did or whatever. Yes, maybe it was a Zoom thing. Anyway,
at least it wasn't recorded, so it didn't happen.
But it was funny because
in Vegas.
When I was getting out of everything, because like then I'm like, okay, I gotta fucking turn my shit around here. I need to freaking take a step back, reevaluate my fucking scenario, my life, everything. I gotta look at my family stuff. I gotta reevaluate everything. I can't keep on doing this shit, because all I'm gonna do is keep on putting myself further from my family. And so I put out this big price. I basically priced everything out I had, and I had like, God, I had like, 60 babies, and I had like, however many adults and shit. So I put a price on everything. At the same time, I also kind of fucked my arm up. So I kind of needed the money to help pay some of the bills, because my short-term disability didn't pay near what I was making when I was actually working, So I sent price lists to people. And the reason why I mentioned Chris Eaton on there is because I sent him a price list. Everybody I knew, I was like, hey, just getting the word out, I sent it to him.
He's like, tore you up for sending him a price list after he got out of ball pythons?
He's like, who the fuck are you? I'm like, oh, it's just dog of history. He's like, dude, I don't even know who the fuck you are. You're sending me price lists. What the fuck? And so during the Zoom thing, or on one of his things he was talking, he's like, oh, I didn't realize who he was. He's like, not that, and I'm not like, I'm a huge guy or anything or a big name, but he's like, yeah, he had been in it for like forever. He's like, I thought some random ass guy was just sending me a fucking price list that had been in it for a year or two. He's like, found out this guy's been in it for like, 8 years or whatever, 10 years.
Right.
And, cause I got into it in 2009. My first clutches were in 2012 and all that shit. So,
don't get too juicy. Then we won't have any good content for your real show.
Yeah.
For your expose. As it's cutting through Nacker layer by layer, make Nacker into an onion.
It's a fucking hard one to
peel him away. Him away. No, he's tempered in raw shit, ladies and gentlemen, because he has ridden the fine edge of death in the marriage to the hobby and come out the other side a brighter, better bulb. So how does this bulb burn so bright? How did this happen? Tell me. So you didn't knock her in the head and make her absolutely dependent on you. Okay. All right, because I was going to say, I'm pretty sure. Look, I'm pretty sure to make me dependent, and I'm not really dependent on very many people for my daily life. But it's like I used to tell my ex, because she was fucking crazy. I'm not sure I didn't see you push me out of the corner of my eye. I'm not sure you weren't there. I'm not sure you weren't at the edge of the deck and been like, as soon as he looks away, I'm just going to give him a little kiss off the edge.
Right.
And then the motherfucker will need me. And then, so let's be glad that didn't happen.
Right.
please, because I love Doug Nacker. I don't
Well,
know what it is about you that's got me so much when we first met, but I really truly love you.
Yeah. Oh man, we've had a lot of good conversations. I know that for sure.
We
But
have. We have.
but
Not that one when you were fuming off on the shit.
yeah, yeah. You
No.
know that was
No.
yeah. It was.
Would you
that
be
was,
mad at
that was
me
a
if
vet
I told
fest for sure?
would you be
know?
mad at me if I told you I lied to you back then and I didn't actually lose it and I did it for you and your marriage and your collection?
Man, I'd probably be like, fuck, man. Where do you want to go eat? I'll take you out for fucking dinner.
Okay,
Right?
in that case, I lied like a motherfucker. That's it. This
You-
is
you-
that was
you
steak.
pick it,
You guys
man.
heard that? That was a fucking lie. Lied like a motherfucker. That was it. There you go, guys. I was a fucking liar. So what? Correct.
So then, so once I got rid of most of the shit, I had some stuff, and I kind of what I did as I talked to her about
hit the
shit,
like
she
and
was fine.
subscribe.
So I had a handful of snakes that I actually didn't sell, but I kind of like guess I would say breeder loan. I loaned them to a buddy of mine that he had some stuff going on. I'm like, tell you what, you can take these. You're gonna have them for like a year or two or whatever or 3 or whatever, however long it takes for me to get my shit together. They're still my animals, so when I get back into it, I have something to bring back into my fold, and I have adults that are breeding and all that kind of stuff. Than just saying like I gotta buy babies and I gotta buy,
Right.
you want to buy an adult breeder female. If you want something beyond some hets and stuff like that, you're looking at however many grand. I don't want to get in that situation again where I'm, having to buy high end shit or expensive ass shit getting back into it. So so when I got back into the DJ and stuff, and then my job situation changed, my family situation changed, and then the bug kind of came back about the whole ball python stuff. Because when I was out of it, I didn't watch videos. I didn't watch freaking anything to do with ball pythons. I wasn't watching the shit because I was like totally out of it. I didn't care about that. I wasn't having fun when I was doing it at the end there because I was putting so much stress on myself to do whatever I had to do to get to be that guy, and be the next whatever, be the next Justin, be the next Miguel, be the next whoever. It was such a big deal to me that I was like, I had to be, I needed everybody to know who the fuck I was. In the grand scheme of things, it didn't matter if anybody knew who the fuck I was because I didn't have fun doing it anyways at that point in time, right? And I was fucking things up with my family. So when I realized all this shit and I fucking took a step back and saw who the fuck I was, I'm like, all right, things changed. I just got out of it, started doing shit with my family again, did stuff. I got my daughter was, she wanted to go into hockey and stuff. And, I just really changed who the fuck I was. And then I got that bug back about the ball python. So I'm like, okay, but I'm not going to do what I did last time. I'm going to do it right this time. And I'm going to do it right by my wife. I'm going to do it right by my kids and my family and everything, make sure that they're as involved as possible with things. And I talked to her and I'm like, hey, I don't really need the money for like the snakes like I was thinking about doing before. Like I was like trying to get it so I could prove to her that I can make whatever and we can just, breed snakes for a living and all that stuff. I'm like, I'm not looking to do that. But I do miss doing stuff with the snakes. I miss, breeding them and seeing the babies hatch out and all that kind of stuff. It's like, that's like, to me, that's like the big part of the fun that I had with it. I'm like, what if whatever money we make from it, I just give it to you and you do whatever you want with it. I don't care. Like I won't use it for anything in the hobby. I'll, the DJ and stuff can kind of like, as long as the DJ stuff and my job together are paying the bills and we're doing stuff as a, as a family and everything. And there's some left over to do things with the snakes. I'll use that. But anything I do from the shows, like I do local shows, is because I haven't had enough stuff, in my opinion, to make Tinley worth it for me. But those small shows is $50 a table. I always make at least that and then some.
I like that you're taking a practical approach to showing and you're not just going and blowing the wad like a lot of people are doing. And it's funny. It actually, Chris Eaton and I had a really good conversation about this privately where he was like, dude, these guys are like really going out to like show each other up as showmen. And I'm like, wow, that's got to be really hard on the guys that don't want to do all that bullshit, but honestly, at the end of the day, I don't think it is. I really honestly, and at the end of the day, I don't think that stuff's selling any more snakes. It might be getting you more traffic on a YouTube channel at a show. It's not selling any more animals from you. Like, look, it's good to be practical like you're thinking and not go spend, because dude, it cost $2,000 to go to Tinley, I mean, it's good to not spend $2,000 to go to Tinley on a hope and a prayer. You know, Tim Bailey went to Tinley Park as his very first reptile show he ever did. He never, ever did a Repticon or anything, dude. He came with me to Tinley to do Tinley as his first fucking show. And you know what? He didn't sell hardly anything, if nothing. I want to say he sold nothing.
Sure.
If I'm right, the first show, and the second year he came back and he killed it. You know, but I think he sold a bunch of stuff. I think he sold it at the end of the show. But, you know, he had a lot of axanthic and head axanthic stuff. So his table didn't look like, wow, like back in the day when bumblebees and pinstripes, spinner blasts and all that shit was the money. His head axanthics were normals, right? So his table didn't look good, right? It was a bunch of heads. You know,
the potential was there, but you didn't see it in the actual
the potential was there. It was a lot like, you know what it was a lot like? It was a lot like your boy with the TSK Xanthics, John Daig, JD Constriction, at that Tinley Park where I saw you. Because if you remember, there was one aisle with only 3 breeders on it under the overhang. It was my tables, then it was John Daig, and then it was Justin Kabilka.
Right.
And I was like, you poor fuck. You got stuck between me trying to get rid of everything, Justin Kabilka bringing up all kind of shit, and you chose to bring no snakes with any color because they're all JD Constrict. Because you remember his booth was awesome. It was all black and white, right? Or it is all black and white. And I was like, oh man. And when he got there, he's like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm between Bradley and Kabilka, and none of my snakes have color. And I was like, wow, that's a shitty place to be, bro. On this, my shit didn't look that good. My shit was at the end. My shit wasn't all that great, but I was selling everything. So I had everything there, you know, but anyway, yeah, I think that's great. Like that's wonderful. And that helped the situation. It worked out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and
she making her basically the CFO.
Well, see, yeah. And that I just,
the chief financial officer, for those of you who don't know what the fuck a CFO is.
Somebody had mentioned it before too, like the new ownership video I did. So like when I first got back,
right.
It was kind of a running joke. I even where the hell do I have my cards and stuff here? I have my fucking card. She's on the card. She's on the business card.
That's fucking great.
I don't have one on me now. Go figure. I don't have it, but
that's fucking wonderful.
Yeah, so it says Doug and Jenny Nacker on it. Where before it was just Doug Nacker, and then. You know, people will be like, hey, if somebody's like, hey, will you do a trade and stuff? I'm like, hey, I can do a trade. I can get this snake. And she's like, well, is it worth it? I'm like, well, do you want me to sell it? And whatever. I mean, it might take another month or 2 for it to sell. Otherwise, I can do this trade. She said, well, what would happen if you did the trade? I'm like, well, I could take that male or female, whatever it is, and breed it to this. And I could probably make that. And she's like, oh, whatever you think, I guess. And then, you know, at that point, it's like, okay, then I'll just kind of make the decision on that. But I mean,
all right, guys, you ready for this? Well, there we go. Here we are. I'm not going to play it because the sound won't play through. But this is Mr. Nacker. Like, look at the 2 differences in these guys. Okay, this is the difference in looking at me in 27, 26, 15 and looking at me now. Okay, like this is really the difference. Like we both went through our thing. This dude right here has seen better days. Like,
well, I actually was in good shape then though too, because I hadn't been doing all the weddings. So man, I eat every fucking Saturday or Sunday, you know, whenever I do the weddings. And
shit, you work at a wedding.
I got a little bit more weight on me right now. I got to work on that, but
there's nothing wrong with that. Man. There's nothing wrong with that at all. You can buy me lunch based on that other thing we were talking about earlier because you get so many fucking free ones.
I better see you at a Tinley or something that I can buy you that damn lunch. By the way, I see you up there.
Oh yeah, you ain't gonna see me at Tinley this year either, unfortunately, unless y'all motherfuckers. I'm not. See what I'm not gonna do is I'm not going to try to sell you guys on having faith in me and my abilities to conduct this podcast with integrity and with a good goal in mind and not with a fucking like personal vendetta in mind, right? Like to really be, you know, like let's take the shipping thing, to really be a devil's advocate, like a real good, solid devil's advocate. Like, dude, he didn't really say anything nasty. He didn't really, you know, whatever. But yeah, it's just like, you know, dude, so glad you're here, man. Like I thought you were fucking done, Doug. I thought you were done. When I came back and I saw Hissy fit and you hit me up and we talked. And you told me, bro, I'm in a completely different space. And I'm like, yeah, you got a new wife. What's her name? You know, like that's pretty much what I was thinking, bro. Because you got to realize 22 years of exotics by nature.
Right.
Another 6 years of the marketing before that with my boss's company. ironically, you want to know what it was called? Other than Herp Exchange, which was I mentioned on the herpexchange.com was our morph market. We
Okay.
actually released a uncannily similar version of a website to morph market in the year 1999. And it would have destroyed kingsnake.com at its time. But herpers were barely able to use the internet because they were all old school motherfuckers and shit. There's no way they ever cared about a database based system that tracked your dude. All the standings where we're at now. I mean, obviously, Morph Market's way better. I mean, we use the Beanie Baby database platform to build the software on, you know. But the other company, it's just crazy. And it's spelled exactly the same way, but it doesn't have a period, a dot in the middle. And I'm glad he put a dot in there because it's very awesome and differentiates it. I didn't name, I named it with my boss, and it wasn't my company. In 1998, we started a company called RepTech, REPTEK. You know,
Okay.
so, and the funny thing is it's RepTech's actually been used like 3 times since then, but not just by Stephen Cush. He's the owner of it now. Stephen Cush, you own that. I'm not saying I'm not stating claim to it. I will joke one day and go in there and get a price list out that's printed. I actually have a stack of old price lists in there that were long cards, and it actually has the logo, the RepTech logo on the top of it. And I'll share one on a Ballsh one day just for fun. But you know, it's funny how names work and how things come around like that, you know.
Right.
You know, it is what it is, bro. But so, you know,
Yeah, a lot of shit changes, that's for
so
sure.
you came back, you didn't change the name, you changed the business cards to basically say, you know, she's under new ownership. Here we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
If you guys
She's the
want to
boss
watch
lady,
this
you know?
video, I will also link this video in the description here below. Okay. And watch
Yeah.
this video. And
Yep.
ultimately, man, look, you've come, bro.
Yeah, that was
7.84 thousand subscribers. You have come around. And you know what, Doug? You're a great guy. You were a great supporter of the Bullshit podcast when I was going through my worst, and sad that you were going through your worst at the same time as me, bro. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm so glad you're here. And I've said it 100 times and I'm not going to stop. Date added oldest first. We go to his oldest videos.
Yeah, and this is actually
9 years ago,
back
9 years ago.
back in the day, YouTube, you couldn't just change the name of your account. So I
Oh,
actually
right.
had to make a new I had like around 1,000 subscribers or whatever, and I had
Oh, when you did the reboot?
yeah, so
Hmm.
it was I can't remember what the fuck it was just under my name, like or my email or whatever it was. So I wanted it to be, you know, relevant to the name of Hissy Fit Reptiles. So I
Right.
had to make a new YouTube, and then everybody I put a big thing on there like, hey, I'm moving to this channel, so make sure you go there, subscribe. Well, obviously only half of them go over there at that point in time, so I had to kind of start from scratch and shit.
Yeah.
But then I started like the first few videos on this channel. It's basically like a you know, previously on, you know, whatever. So it has like a rehash of like the first
Oh,
year or
okay.
two and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So kind of like there was one, it was like a then and now. And I've moved like 3 different fucking times since I've
Right.
been Hissy Reptiles. We now finally own a house that we were, you know, able to do, you know, obviously with me not fucking around and stuff. So, you know, I mean, with money and shit like that. So,
Yeah.
so,
But look,
but,
dude, I think your story's awesome. I think it's ridiculously close to what a lot of people go through.
yeah,
I recently read of one of my star, and some people are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. One of my star customers of puzzles, who's a great puzzle breeder. He's putting out shit left and right. And boy, he spent a lot of money with me. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, I think this man spent more money than me than any other man that ever did, like in the history of EBN. Like, I don't think anybody else ever outspent this dude. And, you know, when I was off my rails, he and I had a disagreement there at the end of our dealings, and I basically told him to fuck off. And now, in which case, now I've gone back and we've talked and we've discussed and we've figured out what was up, and we haven't skipped a beat. We're actually stronger now probably than we were then, as friends and as industry space people, right? Owners, operators, shippers, receivers, all that good shit that we are, right? Rodent breeders, rodent killers, poop scoopers, rep to chip soakers, or cocoa of whatever choice you want soakers.
Yep.
That's it, right? I mean, we've got it all. So I think, bro, I love you. And I'm so glad you shared this with me because that guy went through the same shit. And when he stopped posting, I was worried. And you know what he did? He sold every single cheap, like, you know, this guy didn't have single gene anything, right? Like he had triple gene, quad gene, sept gene, you know, 7 gene, 6 gene, 5 gene, you know, all that type shit, right? He sold all of that bullshit and literally bought a small number of insanely expensive things.
Okay.
So I was like, that's how he did it. Because I want to know, like, I want to know. And it's pretty cool that I got you on this show this week. And last week he told me the story. And last week he's like, bro, I pushed it to the edge. And I'm like, yep. Had I not started EBN with my first fiance, bro, I never would have been in a relationship in those 10 years. Yeah. No fucking way, dude. There was no way. There was no time for it. And you know what's funny? Celia that I built EBN with, we were boyfriend, girlfriend, long distance. I lived here in Louisiana. She actually lived in California and went to school at Berkeley. We dated online, traveling every 6 months on the little bit of money we could save up as minimum wage employees at I think I was at $4.25 an hour at that time. Something like $4.75, something like that. It wasn't much more than that. And then I think I was manager and I was $7 an hour and I managed a pet store and I had 3 employees that worked under me at the time. And I was 19 and I was traveling back and forth to California every 6 months. And in between time, we would miss the fuck out of each other. You know, we were young. We had young love, right? You can't bridle young love. You can't do that. Young love's going to live, bro. It's going to be the way it is, man. And you know what? I had to tell my girlfriend when I was 20 in the summer of the year 2000 that I wasn't going to move to California. I had just sold my entire snake collection. I was down to like 5 snakes from 140. I think I had 140 snakes in the bedroom that it's ironic. My daughter lives, it's a very pretty bedroom now, but my daughter lives in the old snake room. My daughter's room at my mom's house is the 3rd bedroom in the house when we used to have snakes in that, when my mom it was just me and my mom, and she encouraged me. That's why I did what I did. And I was 20 and owned a pet store. Bro, we didn't have any money. My mom is still paying on her mortgage on a 1,200 square foot house from 1997. We didn't have any money, but we second mortgaged that little bit of equity on that house to buy into Exotics by Nature, you know? And so I had to tell my girlfriend when I was 20 that I was picking opening a business over her and over moving. And I thought that was it, bro. We went through a little patch and because we were 3,000 miles away without the money to just be together, you know?
Well,
it was something, bro. But the funny thing is she got into the hobby because you know what? I couldn't move, but you know what? I brought her. You know, this is back before 9/11. This is before 2001. So you could get onto a plane with a reptile of any kind. But you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. You know,
you didn't know that? You didn't know that? Okay, this is what my boss used to do. He used to take a vacation in Florida with his daughter and his stepdaughter and his wife. Every year we go to Daytona, well, Orlando, because Orlando is across the street from Universal.
Okay.
So he would go to Orlando. He would drive down to Orlando with me and then fly me back to run the store on Sunday, right?
Sure.
So what we would do is I had a carry-on luggage and I would get just a simple duffel bag, a zipper closed duffel bag. And I would fold it up and put it in my luggage, an empty duffel bag. And we'd go to the show and we would buy all the shit we needed for the store that would fit in the duffel bag. And we'd fill the duffel bag up. And then him and his wife would bring me to the Orlando airport, drop me off at the Orlando airport. I would go bring the bag and my carry-on with me, put it on the conveyor and the x-ray, just like a fucking bag. It would run through the x-ray and they'd see all the snake skeletons and lizard skeletons and all that shit. They'd see all that on the screen. All that shit was on there moving and shit in there. It was always something, you know, with the fucking, the TSA girls in New Orleans. It's a lot of different ethnicities here, obviously, because we're a port city in the South, you know? So half these women are like, holy shit, there's moving stuff in that box. And I'm not into that, you know? And a lot of people are scared and freaking out about stuff because they've never seen this. And it's not something that normally comes through the x-ray. And it's not people that normally are around exotic animals, right? But all you used to tell them is this: it's perfectly okay. I have the airline's permission. Oh, okay, honey, go ahead. That's exactly how it went. Exactly how it went until 2001. It all stopped September 11th. After that, like, you didn't need to be an approved shipper before 9/11, dude. You could just go to Delta Dash with a box that was sealed up, even though it was supposed to be open for their inspection. If you told them there were snakes in it, they'd be like, yeah, I don't need to see that. Just tape it up. And that was the guys at Delta Cargo, right?
Sure.
And they saw snakes. They saw venomous snakes at Delta Cargo. They saw everything: dead bodies, flowers, seafood, venomous snakes. So yeah, we used to fly back with the shit on the carry-on. Just slip it under the seat in front of me, sticking out between my legs. And if somebody was like, what's in the bag? Because they saw something move a little bit, I'd be like, oh, there's reptiles in the bag. And I'd even open up the bag and let me peek in. Like, oh, just peek in. We're not going to take anything out. We can't handle it loose on the plane. That's probably not going to happen. You know, and really that's how we did it. And I'm not at all the only one that fucking did that, you know, and that was it. PCF Funny Royals. It's not a gun. Oh, okay. Exactly, bro. It's not a gun. It's not a bomb. It's not a calculator. It's not a computer. You know, I mean, so who fucking cares? And honestly, dude, that's how we fucking did it. There was no difference. It's just how we did it. So, yeah, bro. I want to get you back to talk about some other stuff because I think we can definitely do this.
Yeah. Fuck
I
yeah.
like doing this with you.
Whatever. I am game for that shit for sure. I'll do whatever
neat.
you want to talk about. I mean, I got some weird shit going on in some of my projects.
Yeah. We'll talk about snakes. This is a snake podcast about snakes. And it's bullshit. And we'll talk about balls. We'll talk about ball pythons on bullshit. And yeah, EBN was trafficking snakes in between states, not outside the country. EBN was trafficking snakes. Yes, EBN has trafficked in snakes plenty. Every single reptile show that crosses the state lines is trafficking in animals. That's what the Lazy Act says, right? You're trafficking. It's not illegal trafficking unless you cross into Florida with certain shit or don't have a permit in some places and stuff like that. But at the same time, is the cop pulling you over for speeding going to know that shit? No. Is he going to call a wildlife agent? No. Because what are you going to do when you get pulled over? You're going to show him the coolest fucking ball pythons you have and tell him how you made them from normals and how you make $1 million a day doing this. And you know what he's going to do? Ask you for a business card, just like he did me. I was the worst. I got pulled over and I did have weed in the car because I was on the way to a show in Texas and it was right after my son passed away. And it was the only way me and my ex were making it through the weekend, was staying stoned as fuck with our depression and shit and all the badness. It was the February Arlington show in 2012. And it was my son passed away on January 9th and the show was February something. And we drove to it and we got pulled over and the cop knew we had weed in the car. And I opened up a case of ball pythons and it just so happened it was all piebalgs and albinos.
So cool looking shit for
somebody. Oh yeah, dude. And you know what's one thing about a cop I've learned? Just like a fireman, every cop and every fireman is an aspiring CEO on his days off. They have a deck building business or a restaurant cleaning service, or they have some shit running on the side. Cops and firemen are some of the most resourceful, fully employed people there is, period. I'm simply convinced. And Brock Wagner, this is not a dig on you because I'm squarely convinced to actually fix things with Brock Wagner. It's an uphill battle, but I'm working on it, right? I'm working on it. Thankfully, his partner is one of my bestest, most favorite people in the fucking world. Sure. And hopefully we can work it out. But hey, man, thank you a lot, Doug. Did you have anything else to add about the family thing? I think you got it out, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, if we do a part 2 or something,
I want to save some. Yeah, we got to save.
Yeah, we'll save some stuff for whatever.
Yeah, this was good. This was good. You know what's great about this, dude? You tell me why we had no service problems here, no interruptions here, no skips, no bumps, no dips. Because after what happened last,
that's because Mandic inspired me to go buy an Ethernet cable. Last week's episode, I was like, "Ah, man, it was so good." And then there was like those connection issues.
Yeah, but wait.
So I went and bought
He's coming back in October.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
you
that's
tell
just
me
good.
about the cord, and then we're gonna.
Yeah,
talk
so
about
I
that
had
real
a
quick.
100-foot cord. I ran it up through my drop ceiling or whatever. So now my snake.
Don't you love a drop ceiling, bro?
Oh, they're fucking awesome.
That's all I got in
You
this
gotta-
whole
I-
place, bro.
That's how
all I
like
got in this
our
whole
family
place.
room, we got like the Dolby Atmos surround sound in our family room and everything. And so because I was able to put all the shit in the ceiling, all the speakers in the ceiling, and all that shit. But yeah,
That's cool.
so
That's
it's
awesome.
Fun
That
stuff,
works
so.
out.
The kids love it,
Absolutely,
obviously,
bro.
and we're down there like pretty much every weekend. We go down and watch movies and shit down there. You know, yeah, that's the big thing. Balance. Everybody, if you're listening to this and you want to get
Yes,
anything
indeed.
out of what I'm saying, balance your fucking shit out, your resources and your hobby and everything. Because if you do what I did, you're gonna probably fuck some shit up. Because I know I did.
You will not be as lucky as this man. You will not be as fortunate as this man. You will not be that fortunate. Thank you, Will. These stories is what makes this my favorite show. That fucking means a ton right there, dude. Thank you so much for being so loyal, Will, and having such good positive things to say on this here podcast that everybody thought was going to be a shit show of negativity. Bro, when they saw me coming back, they're like, what the fuck is going to happen now? Let's watch this motherfucker burn. Okay. I've got that sign that everybody's been sharing on Facebook. I laser cut it and I got to paint it to put on the wall, and it says, don't quit now. You've got a bunch of motherfuckers to prove wrong. I've got that going up here. I've got interrupt less, love more going up here. That's some gay shit. But I'll tell you what it's going to be for is for the people that want to come into this room and also podcast.
Sure.
So if you're listening to this and you're concentric to the Southeast Louisiana area and you have any at all interest in starting your own reptile podcast and you do not have the means or the balance or the money to make it happen for you in the beginning, let's talk, because I've got a studio with a green screen and it's open to you to brand for whatever you want. And it's money I already spent. And yeah, maybe I asked for a little bit of money for you to use it, but it ain't going to be like anywhere near what it costs to set all this shit up. Right? Not a bad idea, right? Let's make a bang up podcast room and let's offer it to other hobbyists and other friends in the area to also use if they so choose to do so, to elevate their careers. Why not?
Yep.
Nobody else is fucking doing it. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody else is fucking doing it. Fuck it.
You know, that goes back to the whole thing about, you know, people appreciating things and stuff. You know, you help somebody out in one area, you know, they're not going to forget that shit. You know, there's a reason why, you know, you and I have come back and talked to each other how many times and stuff. I mean, there's
we didn't talk to each other for 4 years almost, and we didn't skip a beat, just like me and Mark Mandick, because when you don't talk to me for 4 years, we pick up where we left off because we've both been busy motherfuckers that have been talking to other people during that time.
Well, look, it's but 2 hours and 20 minutes worth of us bullshitting and shooting shit. Probably could have gone 5 or 6 hours and still fucking that shit.
Yeah, and we're going to cut it off right here because we're going to save more of Mr. Doug Nacker for a real bullshit featured episode where we feature Hissy Fit Reptiles in its fully encompassed glory and all the shit that this man has sacrificed for to basically still help you fucking people out with ball pythons even after his family shit got kind of sketchy. He managed to balance things. That's something I couldn't do. And you know what? I admire the fuck out of you, my friend. Thank you so much for doing this.
No, but next time too, we'll have to do the thing with me getting snagged in the eye by that.
Yeah, he did get bitten in the eye real bad, but we are going to save that for the snake podcast. Yeah. Because we got to bury it in the episode so that nobody comes back and says, these motherfuckers, they're going to get us all, banned from YouTube for violence and snakes hurting people. And we can't really like show all, because it's a really bad bite. Okay, guys, he got bit by a ball python completely around his eye socket. I want to show it on Instagram, but we're going to show it on the next show. We're not
just
doing
go
that.
on my Instagram. You can check
Don't go on his Instagram. Wait for fucking bullshit, you assholes. Let me at least do something right. Come on. All right, dude. Get the fuck out of here before you. All right.
Thanks for having me, Sean. It's been a fucking awesome night.
Thank you, Jug. And look, one of the last supporting fucking gangsters of the Bullshit podcast in 2018. This man right here. Please go and support Hissy Fit Reptiles everywhere. If you can't find Hissy Fit Reptiles, you're a fucking moron. It's really easy to find. I mean, Hissy Fit, you search it and you put snake, you search Hissy Fit snake on Google and it's going to come right up every fucking time. So thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you very much. And I'll see you again really soon. All right.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
Later, bro.
See ya.
Stay in the room. Don't leave. All right. Well, I got to get this guy going back to his family before we have a rehash of 2018. I don't need that. I don't need that on my conscience because you know what his wife's going to tell me this time? Look, I'm already on the business card. I'm already on the checkbook. I'm already buying all the shit I want that he doesn't know about, just like he was buying all the shit he wants before that I didn't know about. I've completely flipped that script on him altogether. But you know what? He's a good dude. And so, look, I'm going to round this out and say thank you, Mike Narita, for saying another great episode. Looking forward to the next one. The next episode, if it's this Tuesday, it's going to be an off-topic Tuesday with Nick Mutton. If it makes it this Tuesday, we just kind of stick in for the notifications. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to go and hit that notification bell that's on this right now, and that way you'll know when we're going to schedule another live show, because it'll either be this Tuesday or the following Tuesday. And then next Friday, I don't know. It might work out to where I have, I don't know. I've got a couple options for next Friday. Okay. My main option, I think I wanted to make it. He was here in the chat tonight. It's my boy, MVT, Marshall Van Thor of NOCO Reptiles in Colorado, of Fort Collins, Colorado. He and I go way back. And as much as I would love to do a full show on NOCO Reptiles, I would just love to just do a show with my old buddy, and he and I stomped a lot of ground together, a lot of shows. We shared tables together, a lot of notes we compared over the years. And he was the very first person to buy a puzzle ball. He was the very first person to buy anything from the project. Marshall Van Thor paid $9,500 for a male, probably the best pattern male pastel puzzle that I ever fucking hatched. Yes, indeed. Savage says, bring on Palumbo. Dave Palumbo. I am bringing on Palumbo, and the only thing I don't have is a fucking mic to stick in his face like he did mine. I do not have a mic. That ringside motherfucker is amazing. He is amazing. And you know what? He put me on the map, not for Reptile. He put me on the map. If you go back to Dave Palumbo's broadcasts and you go back to like 2016, 17, something around in there, there's a puzzle. Is it puzzle? Fuck, what is it? Is it puzzle? Yeah, it's puzzle. The new Daytona one is that Hatari gene. The other one is puzzle. On the puzzle one, he puts me on the spot and makes me admit to smoking weed all day. And you know what happened? And even though I do not have things shipped to me, I am a medical patient and legally get stuff in the state of Louisiana now. Do not send me anything in the mail. Do not go online and get an address from my website and send me stuff in the mail, because people have done that. I've gotten literally a box of illegal material shipped to me in the mail. Don't ever do that shit. But Dave Palumbo is the reason that I got it shipped to me, because he put me on the spot. I wasn't going to say anything on the actual broadcast. In the pre-show, he asked me what I did all day, and I said, I get up in the morning, I eat, I hang out with my friends, I smoke a bunch of weed, and I breed a bunch of snakes. I'm also paralyzed from the chest down, and I've got reason. Then when he turned on the camera, he said, Sean, what's your normal day like? And I said, well, I get up in the morning and hang out with my friends and breed snakes. And he said, that's not what you told me on the pre-show. And he straight puts me on the spot. Go watch it. And can you fucking believe people stalked out my address to send me shit from that video? Please do not send me that shit here. I'm not in California, not in Colorado. I'm not in Florida. I'm not. We do have a medical thing here, but it's not allowed to be shipped or bought or whatever unless you buy it from specific places. So don't do it to anyone. Not to me, not to anyone. As much of a friend as you may be, as much as weed may be legal in your state, and as much as you may love weed, do not send it to your favorite podcast host. It is not a good idea. Thank you, Mr. Dave Palumbo. He said he wants to come on the show. I am writing this motherfucker an email or a text tonight or tomorrow. Dave Palumbo, I love you to death, dude. Thank you very much. And Mark Mandick, back again in the future. I know that's not what y'all wanted to hear, right? Y'all didn't want to hear in the future. You wanted to hear an immediate date. Shane wants to hear an immediate date, or he's not going to sponsor the Bullshit podcast anymore. That's not true. He didn't tell me that at all. I'm just making that up to make him sound like he's fucking twisting my arm. Mark Mandick is going to Croatia. He must love soccer or something. I don't fucking know why. I'm sure it's beautiful. I don't know any reason to go to Croatia, but Mark is going to Croatia, and when he comes back from Croatia, he is going to get together a bunch of slides and slides. We say slides because we're old men. Photographs, right? To put on this production to share all these new genes he's got with you and to explain them and stuff. It's going to be a real rich show on what the current stuff is, and we might dive back into the past a little bit, right? So that's it, guys. I'm done. 2 hours and 28 minutes, just shy of 2 hours and 30 minutes. We got to shut the fuck up. But this was a great one. I was dead coming here. I told Nacker, you better carry this fucking episode because I don't think I can do it. And you know what? I didn't even need to be here, guys. I didn't, even though I said a lot. So thanks for listening. And we'll see you the fuck out of here. I still haven't figured out this whole ending the YouTube with the video thing where the two videos show up in the